compatriots, Nigeria call obey to serve our fatherland with love and strength and faith. The labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain. To serve without our might, one nation bound in freedom, in freedom, in freedom. Peace and unity. Arise, my people, arise, my people.
Joining us on the program today, I am Nethanyahu Guntoye. You can join the conversation right now on X using the hashtag Beyond100 Days. Remember to tag me and at TVCNewsNG. We're staying with development on the arrest of Simon Ekpa in Finland. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has now confirmed his arrest. The authorities allege that Mr. Ekpa used social media platforms to spread separatist propaganda, incite violence, and encourage illegal actions, which had caused significant disruptions in the southeast of Nigeria. Well, Finnish investigators had also linked him to incidents of violence in Nigeria, which were believed to have been fueled by his online activities. The acting spokesperson of the ministry, Kimebe Bimfa, explains that the arrest of Mr. Ekpa follows sustained diplomatic pressure by the Nigerian government and Finland to take action against his activities, which were linked to violence and instability in the southeast of Nigeria. The request for action featured during high-level engagements between both countries. The ministry now wishes to affirm that the arrest of Mr. Ekpa is a significant development in addressing national security. And still talking security, Nigeria's Minister of Defense, Mohammed Badaru.
Welcome. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to play some other clips. I think there is a developing news regarding the autopilot movement. Let me see if I can pull that up. Let's just play this. I think this is from Dr. Ngozi Arabweze. You know, you can say whatever you like about some of these Ekpa supporters or some people that believe in separatism and stuff like that. They are brave people, and we need brave people like this in Nigeria to actually do something for the country. But they spend all this energy fighting pushing in the wrong direction. That is just going to be wasted. It's bound to be wasted. But you know, it's their choice. So let me just play what she's got to say.
Here present, I work at home and cabinet members in the de facto government. I welcome and thank our Biafra Liberation Army, our Biafra Defense Forces that are on ground doing the needful to ensure that the restoration of Biafra is not tampered with by anybody, by any government, foreign or local. Our determination to redeclare Biafra between November 29th and December the 2nd, but in Finland and in de facto homeland, is a task that every Biafran, every individual listening here today must be involved in. As the previous speakers have noted, our able Prime Minister, Obato, His Excellency, Simon Ekpa, will be with us in a very few period, this is just a short delay that will in no way affect what we are doing, demean our spirit or hamper our resoluteness, restore Biafra on 2nd December. His Excellency, I greet you. I thank you for the wonderful job you are doing to restore Biafra. I thank you for your resilience. I thank you for not cowing in or trying to negotiate. That is the spirit of Sisu. Every single individual here in Biafra government goes with that spirit of Sisu. We are more determined now than before for the restoration of the independent state of Biafra on 2nd December 2024. Nothing in this life, absolutely nothing will deter us. Nothing will stop us. So on this note, I want to bring to the notice of all Biafrans that our Prime Minister is safe and sound, very healthy in Finland, attending to these issues that usually most of us know. The terrorist state of Nigeria will always try in one way or the other to bribe their way into all the different foreign countries, to bribe their way into places like United Nations, African Union, to bribe their way into every internationally established community or organization. The Nigerian government, using the Europeans, using United Kingdom as part of their deal, will always try to disrupt, will always try to tamper with the restoration of Biafra, United States of Biafra. But I want to tell everybody listening here today that the power that Nigerian government has, where they stop is where this government begins. I need them to know that our Excellency, His Excellency, the Prime Minister of Biafra Republic, Simon Ekpa, has already led a full structure for the restoration of Biafra. Nobody on earth will stop that. We are both at home and we are abroad. Biafra will be restored from diaspora. Our leader, Nnamdi Kanu, has laid the structure by introducing His Excellency Simon Ekpa to be in charge of this ship where we are right now. And that ship is on course. Our leader, Nnamdi Kanu, or you all should remember, he is with the Nigerian DSS today because of what we are doing. Our leader, Nnamdi Kanu, has said, instead of Biafra not to come, Nigeria will be burned to ashes. And I promise you today, instead of Biafra not to come, we, every single individual in Biafra government, in all the structures that our PM has laid down, we will burn Nigeria down. And any country, both international and in homeland, that tries to tamper, that tries to intervene, that tries to stop this restoration, that country will get the brunt of Biafrans. So I thank you all for coming here today. Like our Honorable Uche has explained to us what happened in Finland. Our Prime Minister, His Excellency Simon Ekpa, has been invited by the Finnish local authorities to volunteer information on what is going on. And our PM has always said he is looking for this opportunity for the government to officially know that Biafrans cannot continue to stay in a country where President Tinubu and Nigerian leaders reintegrate and rehabilitate non-terrorists into the Nigerian police and the Nigerian military and the Nigerian Air Force and custom, and they continue to kill our people. Our Prime Minister has looked forward to this particular moment with few innocent Biafrans that we are taken by the Finland authority. They were invited to come, according to them. They were involved in money, they were making donations, they were funding terrorism. All of you listening to me today, who is the biggest terrorist country we have in the world? Who is among the biggest terrorists? Who is the government that are killing Christians in their numbers? Who is the government reintegrating terrorists? Who is the government that's creating two types of laws? One Sharia in the northern part of Nigeria and then the regular in the south. Who is the government that invited All the different type of terrorists you have, they have their base in Nigeria today. Who is the government that is inviting Hamas and Hezbollah and inviting them to Abuja to come and partner with them? Who is the government when election is conducted? Somebody will go behind the scene and switch the election. They'll carry the election bus and they will steal it. Who is the government doing that? And now they are saying our PM is inciting. Let them know that Biafra is a nation. Our PM is defending Biafrans by the second. Our PM has noted that the way it is done before, where we Biafrans, we just sit, we watch, and these terrorists will come and kill us, kill our mothers, rape our women, kill our children, take away our boys and girls. That is what our Prime Minister Simon Ekpa has vowed to stop. And he has vowed with his life. All of us Biafrans in the British cabinet, the Council Homeland, the Biafran Liberation Forces, the Biafran.
Okay, I just thought I should play that for a while so that some people get an idea of what is being said. You heard her there being introduced. I think her name is Dr. Ngozi Erabueze. You know, this energy, if they use it for nationalism, the land that is considered Biafra would do a lot better. But they use it to fight fellow Nigerians. That is the wasted energy that is going on there. The forces that she's backing up against is just weakening our people further, because it's just dividing our people, not being organized. And it's a shame, but that is our choice. We all have our choices, and I just wish we had more people that are fighting for Nigeria, fighting for West Africa, fighting for Africa. More people like that, with that kind of energy, doing the same thing. So this is weekly news update. You are all welcomed, dignified gentlemen and women, and some of them are younger and others are older. This is a clean session. We shouldn't be insulting each other, and everything should be professionally done. So this is the lady that seems to be heading the organization that Simon Ekpa represented. I know there is somebody on this panel that thought it was fake news, but it's no longer fake news, is it? All right. So he was picked up. Now, next to other news that are actually more consequential to our lives, we talk about these things. We act as if these things are really going to determine our outcome. The people that will determine our lives are out there, not these ones are fighting. If you keep fighting this fight, you want to fight each other, it's not going to get us anywhere. All right. So now there is this news that came out today, if I'm not mistaken, or yesterday, about Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel. International Criminal Court issued an arrest warrant for him, and many nations. Let me play this so that you can get an update of what is going on.
National Criminal Court at The Hague has issued arrest warrants for the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant. Among the things that the ICC is saying it is issuing these warrants for is it's alleged that Netanyahu Gallant used starvation as a tool of war. Just reading some commentary coming through from the ICC. The ICC saying it has reasonable grounds to believe they oversaw attacks on the civilian population. Well, let's go straight now to The Hague and join our correspondent, Anna Holligan, and also Yolande Nell, who's in Jerusalem. Anna, to you first of all, tell us a little bit more then about the reasoning that the International Criminal Court is giving for issuing these arrest warrants.
I'm still studying the details. We've just got them in the last few minutes. So the ICC says the chamber considered that this is the pre-trial chamber at the International Criminal Court, considered that there are reasonable grounds to believe that both individuals, Benjamin Netanyahu, Yoav Gallant, both individuals intentionally and knowingly deprived the civilian population in Gaza of objects indispensable to their survival, including food, water, medicine and medical supplies, as well as fuel and electricity. It goes on to say that their role was
although you see what is going on here, just hear me out. Why is it that the Nigerian government during the Biafran war wasn't issued ICC warrant? Because from what I gather, there was a blockade too of the southeast to prevent resources from getting in there. So
ICC wasn't developed at that time.
It wasn't there at that time. I see. Okay, I just thought I should raise that. All right.
Critical their failure to facilitate relief by all means at their disposal. Also, it goes on, the Chamber also found reasonable grounds to believe that no clear military need other justification under international humanitarian law could be identified for the restrictions placed on access for humanitarian relief operations. Beyond this, just reading a little bit further down, finally, the Chamber assessed that there are reasonable grounds to believe that Mr. Netanyahu and Mr. Gallant bear criminal responsibility as civilian superiors for the war crime of intentionally directing attacks against the civilian population of Gaza. In this regard, the Chamber found that the material provided by the prosecution only allowed to make findings on 2 incidents. So these arrest warrants, actually, initially, they were kept secret, but one of the reasons why the ICC has released them now, they say, is to because they believe similar conduct may be ongoing, and they consider it in the interests of victims and their families that they are made aware of the warrant's existence. Apologies for reading most of that from...
But they're saying there that they kept it secret. Why did they keep it secret all this while? They should have released it all this while, because the guy is busy killing more and more people. Maybe if they had released it, it was to save some lives.
When you say there was a blockade during Biafra, what do you mean?
There was a blockade against in the southeast to allow resources by the Nigerian forces. There was a blockade. That's why there was kwashoko and starvation. There
were food coming from the international community.
Yeah,
but
like Iran now.
But Ojukwu was suspicious, because in the name of bringing in food, they were also smuggling the weapon. So they were delivering the food 2 times, both day and night. 12 ton at night, 12 ton during the day. But Oju, because of the suspicion, because of course it's not even suspicion, the international community are heavily behind Nigerian, so he had to say no to food that are coming in the night, so which automatically shattered the arrangement.
Okay. That's a
You understand?
point of view. Yeah, I think we'll go into that later. We'll go into that
Even
later.
though there is no
other
ICC.
airlines. Let me cover
All
other
right.
headlines. We'll go into that more detail, because that's an interesting point you're raising. All right, so now let's go to other news. I think obviously Netanyahu is not going to be a fan of this arrest. It's funny because Ekpa is arrested this week. Netanyahu, there's a warrant issued. Maybe they are coordinating it with the ICC. Who knows? All right, let's play what he's going to say.
אנטישמי שיש לו מטרה אחת, להרתיע אותנו ממימוש זכותנו הטבעית להגן על עצמנו מול אויבים הקמים עלינו להשמידנו. מאשימים את מדינת ישראל ברצח עם, בשעה שאנחנו פועלים להגן על עצמנו מאויב שמנסה לבצע בנו רצח עם. שום החלטה אנטי-ישראלית מקוממת לא תמנע מאיתנו ולא תמנע ממני להמשיך להגן בכל דרך על המדינה שלנו. לא ניכנע ללחצים. בית דין מוטה זה החליט להוציא צווי מעצר נגדי ונגד שר הביטחון לשעבר יואב גלנט, בהאשמה מופרכת מן היסוד שאנחנו כביכול ביצענו פשעים נגד האנושות, בעוד שהאמת הפוכה לחלוטין. זוהי פשיטת רגל מוסרית. היא פוגעת בזכותן הטבעית של הדמוקרטיות להגן על עצמן מפני טרור רצחני.
Wow, you can't make it up. The guy is acting as if he's all innocent. We are watching it on TV, and Americans, obviously, the enablers, they are not going to say, oh, we are going to arrest Israel. That said, most European countries so far have said they are going to comply with the International Criminal Court. Canada says they're going to comply with the International Criminal Court. I'm not sure what Australia is saying, but I think they too will fall in line. It means Netanyahu has only a few destinations to fly to. The US and, like I said, the Indians, there's no white supremacy state that they see that they don't love. India is the only other country that they can travel to.
Yes.
Because they don't sign the
Can I just quickly add something to that? In that this whole campaign or court case has been stifled. It's been run roughshod by the West as a whole, to the point it's taken over 6 months to reach this position. When they did the very same to Putin of Russia, it took 2 months.
Yeah.
So again, we have to really consider what we are looking at, what the world is showing us. Thank you.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. You said you only have a few destinations to go to Americans. Let me tell you the fact, the truth. There are only 2 destinations on the planet Earth. That is America and United States of America. That's it.
America and the United States of America.
Yes.
You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. You can go ahead.
So there's America, there's the rest of the world. That's it. That's the only 2 places we have in this planet. There's America, and then the rest of the places one. That's it.
Yeah. So now, obviously, you're going to see this Biden despicable presidency, what they always do.
Speak to this at the podium. So let me just say more broadly that we fundamentally reject the court's decision to issue arrest warrants for senior Israel officials. We remain deeply concerned by the prosecutor's rush to seek arrest warrants and the troubling process errors that led to this decision. The United States has been clear that the ICC does not have jurisdiction over this matter. You've heard us say this before. Whatever this prosecutor might imply, there is no evidence, none, between Israel and Hamas. There's just none. In coordination with partners, including Israel, we are discussing certainly those next steps, what that's going to look like. And to your question about sanctions, that's basically kind of just answered it in that last part of what I said. We're in consultation with our partners and also, which include Israel, about our next steps. We fundamentally reject that the ICC has jurisdiction over the situation. And so that's something that we've been pretty clear about, and we'll continue to do so.
The arrest for crimes against humanity and war crimes committed from at least October 8, 2020.
You need to turn your mic, forefather. Turn your mic on.
Yeah, sorry about that. This mic business, I need to get it straight. All right. So the Americans gave Ukraine long-range missiles, and they told them not to fight deep into Russia before now. Then just last week, Biden, after Trump won the election, decided that, you know what? Let me make life let me make life difficult for Trump so that Trump will never do peace.
Terrible, man.
So he decided to say, Zelensky, now you can fire deep into Russia. And Russia was like, is that what you want to do? I will show you guys that this is what happened.
That's not what happened, though.
In Ekpa last night, the missiles rained down. Multiple streams that kept on coming. But these weren't ordinary missiles, and the attack has taken the conflict to a whole new level.
My goodness.
In a televised address, Vladimir Putin confirmed Russia had fired a new hypersonic medium-range ballistic missile, a response to what he called escalation from the West. At first, Moscow wouldn't comment on the reports it had fired a new missile.
Да. Алло.
Its foreign ministry spokeswoman was interrupted mid-briefing by a caller who could be heard telling her to stay quiet. But the Kremlin is silent no longer, even threatening a similar attack on any country whose weapons are being fired on Russia. That includes the UK.
We consider ourselves entitled to use our weapons against military facilities of those countries that allow their weapons to be used against our facilities. And in the event of an escalation of aggressive actions, we will respond decisively and reciprocally.
This was apparently the provocation. Ukrainian strikes on Russia's Kursk region using British Storm Shadow missiles. That's after other assaults from Kyiv involving American missiles. In an interview with Sky's Mark Austin, an accusation from Russia's ambassador to the UK.
Britain and UK is now directly involved in this war because this fighting cannot happen without without NATO staff, British staff as well.
But you are using
plans.
Chinese dual-use technology. You're using Iranian missiles. You're using Iranian drones. You're using North Korean troops. So are you saying all those countries are now directly involved too?
On that subject, I can say easily that we have plenty of mercenaries from different countries that are fighting right now on the side of Ukraine. So what's the matter?
It's that kind of reasoning Russia hopes will force the UK to back down. But there was no sign of that earlier.
The front line is now less stable than at any time since the early days of the full-scale Russian invasion in February 22. And we've seen in recent weeks a very clear escalation from Putin and his forces.
For now, Ukraine's allies are still calling the Kremlin's bluff. The threats keep on coming. Ivor Bennett, Sky News, Moscow.
So this is one of the news that was popping up this week. And obviously there are others. I think the one Nigerians like to talk about is Simon Ekpa. That I think there is one other one in Nigeria actually about what was that again? I think let me see if I can find the headline here. Chidimma. I don't know whether any of you know about Chidimma this in competition that she won. The poor girl
she was first runner-up. Let's be accurate, please.
Yes, she was first runner-up. She won something now. That's why that's why I'm saying it now. She won something. She didn't come out. Let's see. Let me see if I can share this. You can't see. That's why. Let me see.
2024. Did you hear about this?
I think I saw some stuff about it online, but refresh my memory.
It was wild.
That is the Miss Universe there. And look at the person that they run to. I don't know what is happening there. I don't know why that is. Why instead of running to the winner, they ran to the second runner-up. That is a very odd thing. And I think the world, for some reason, they are beginning to like reject this European mentality or idea of beauty. Because I watched a video of Filipinos watching the presentation. When they gave it to the Danish woman, they were so crossed. It's like a football match where they just scored goal against them. They were so crossed that they gave it to the Filipino, the Danish woman. So there is something about the world that wants to push against this blonde-haired, blue-eye narrative.
My brother, you know the amount that you have put on the table, coming from the last show, is rather heavy. Do you think we're going to get through all of it?
No, it's just no. We are not going to talk through all of them. I think just to cover the headlines so that our people over the weekend they start getting an idea of what just happened through the week. You know, some of them are going to work, coming back.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Like you have Miss Denmark.
Right.
She wins the crown. She's obviously thrilled.
Of course.
But then get this.
What?
The crowd. They go absolutely nuts for the first runner-up, Chidimma Adetshina.
Wow, really?
Like everyone's buzzing about her.
Interesting.
It's almost as if
she kind of stole the show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what this excerpt dives into. It's all about this idea of grace and how it can really captivate people.
Now that you mention it, I do remember reading about that. It's funny how our attention is often drawn to those who possess certain qualities that go beyond just, conventional beauty.
Totally. And this article even points that out. It mentions Adetshina's, grace, poise, and charm.
I wanted to show that because there was a bit of a controversy that happened because of it in the competition, because the competition runner, I don't know whether you saw it, Jagun, he was saying that that the blonde hair, blue eye is the epitome of evolution, the highest level of evolution. Can you imagine that? That's the competition runner. It's like because the girls that were at the competition thought that Chidimma should have won, or at least Zambia or one other lady should have won, not the Danish lady. And they were questioning the people that organized it because of it.
If we can, let's bring our faces so we can see each other, if possible. Thank you. Good. Yeah, all the subjects that you brought up are very interesting, including the fantasy of beauty. I'm not quite sure where to start, because I think I have something to say on everything, and I have a lot to say based on the program just finished. Even though I feel you handled it pretty well. You know, I was being wonderfully blocked by the wonderful electronic NEPA pastor. In any case, if I begin from the last thing about beauty, and what the whole thing signifies to me is the incessant Nigeria soft power that is out there at an alarming heartbeat. I don't know how to express this more. A lot of the times we can come here and speak extremely negatively.
You are right about that, you know. You are really right.
Can I just go on? Extremely negatively, we speak about Nigeria all the time. But I'm in the avenue where I'm looking at good news. There's a lot of good news about Nigeria, and there's a lot of power to be taken from that as people, not the politicians. It is so important that we empower ourselves as individuals, and we think positively, and we stand straight, because it can take us anywhere we want to go, as we have seen numerous examples across the world. And I'll give you Kemi Badenoch. No matter what you think about her, she in one generation has sprung from student to the head of the Conservative Party. That's it's soft power. The Niger soft power, we'll take them there. The Niger soft power that takes us anywhere we want to go. So based on Adechina, which she's spelling her name awfully wrongly, which I see quite a lot in sports. You know, that is not a name. Adeshina is the name. It has a meaning, and it's not spelled like that. There's another character who plays basketball in the States, a fantastic basketballer, a fantastic family. He calls his name Adechiko Tupata Tokumbo. I don't think, what the hell is that? What the hell are you doing? You're just mashing up your name. And you need to be standing by your name. You need to be standing by your soft power. You need to be standing by who it is that you are. Not making up all these fallacy names like Forefather and I Speak the Lies. All those names are rubbish. They don't mean anything. Who the hell are you? Who are you? Are you part of us? Are you again? No, this is not this. This is me in my strictest thinking. You know, this is not a game. None of us come here and put our name down based on the fact that we're hiding. We have to come out. There's no time to hide. We have to come out. And those of you who are standing aside, calling Nigeria from the stands, as opposed to be playing on the field, I'm afraid you're not with us, mate. You're not with us. You're against us. Let me continue. When one looks at the world and we compare ourselves to Nigeria, it can be the greatest country in the world within 5 to 10 years. It just can be. If you are looking, if you are understanding what's going on around the world, if you understand that the big powers are losing power, they're losing power. As much as I salute Forefather for his stint on security, it is a very important thing because we have a lot to protect. However, we're so late in that game in itself. We still have to build ourselves as individuals and begin to direct our country, our consciousness, and our nationhood. This whole thing about Biafra is it's actually become worse than the Islamic insurgencies that come into Nigeria. It's much worse. It's much more dangerous. It doesn't seem to me that people understand the danger that they're heading into. When Simon Ekpa came on this program and people were calling him my prime minister, is that not a tease? Is that not a jab at the Nigerian constituency as a whole. You can't do that. You can't say these things. You can't pronounce that somebody is a prime minister when you have a head of state there in that same country that you are calling Biafra. It's ridiculous. You know, in sales, the way we sell the benefits. What is the benefit? You see, when I'm listening to the Biafra talk, I don't hear any benefit to anyone except the selfishness of those people who call themselves Biafrans. I believe that the Biafrans are less in number than those Igbos who are against it. And most definitely, the people that they would like to claim into Biafra, far more less than, they don't call themselves Biafrans. It's the Igbos of that little corner that are calling themselves Biafrans, and they're causing a lot of problems based on the fact that they are very much I'm forgetting the word, a jab in the back of Nigeria that's trying to develop. They're not really suggesting anything for Nigeria. They're suggesting something for themselves. Now, when you have a country like Nigeria where everybody is suffering, how dare you suggest something for yourself? And don't call it selfish. Don't call it myopic. For me, I think you handled it well on the last show. So I just wanted to say that. I've spoken sufficiently. I thank you for the time given. On to the next. I
Thank you. Thank you. I think we are going to play that video. And then I think I would also like to make a kind of case for why Nigeria as a nation right now and where it is actually quite important. I think a lot of people don't fully grasp that geographic region, what it means to the entire black race itself.
To the entire world.
Yeah. So, and we tend to miss it now. I don't know whether I should do that now or I should just go to Eccentrica so that we can have this conversation. Okay, let me just make it brief. I think I'm going to make it maximum 2 minutes. So, Nigeria is the most populous black nation on the face of the earth right now, by far. And it means that we are the ones that stand the best chance of breaking out of control of most of these powers around the world. And secondly, Nigeria has disproportionately the larger proportion of any single nation in Africa, the population of the greater diaspora that we're taking into slavery. Nigeria has disproportionately large population of them that have been taken away from this thing. Let's say they have 100.
That's right.
Nigeria has at least 30% of them. That is a lot when you consider that they take from the Central African region and other West African region. That is a lot for one nation. Then if you look into the very Bantus themselves, originated from Eastern Nigeria, the Mambila Plateau itself. Now,
there's no such thing as Bantu. That's one European.
Yeah, they will say that. They will say that. I think it's not a trope. Actually, there is the linguistic people that study linguistics.
The thing is, it's not ours. It was given by a German. A German was the person who coined that name. If you go back, you will see it.
I understand. I agree with
okay.
you. I'm not debating the name itself. I'm just saying the relationship between these peoples. And there is a reason why when you go to
they are us, my brother. They are us. It's very simple.
So if you look at the map, this Mambila Plateau, they came from all the way from Nigeria all the way to the south. I think the point I'm trying to make is that Nigeria is so significant that most of the populations in Africa may one way or other connect themselves to that region. Even if not in the last 500 years, in the last 1,000 to 2,000 years, they are all linked to that area for some strange reason. And so that is how significant Nigeria is to a lot of people around the world. And maybe some of them don't even know it. If you go to the map of transatlantic slave trade, this region here took out almost 4 million people. This region, Belt of Benin and Belt of Biafra alone, took out almost 4 million people, and the entire Central Africa region took about 5.6 million people. So it tells you the concentration of people that were taken from here. And if you look at the cultures that many of the greater diaspora are practicing, they tend to be linked to Nigeria. They do their genetic test, they tend to be linked to Nigeria. So Nigeria is not the sun that you see right now on the ground. It's not the sum. When you look at Nigeria, you say it's 220 million. You're mistaking the influence Nigeria has around the world.
That's right.
It's a lot bigger than that. From the Yoruba rich in the Brazil, Yoruba culture in the Brazilian area, to the very Bantu that are busy hating us in South Africa right now, they are linked to Nigeria.
Simple things.
That is some powerful heritage that we've got in that place. And
preach it out, forefather. Preach it out, man.
We just take it for granted. Nigeria is a relatively special area. For some reason, I don't know why, it's the most populated region in the African continent.
God
At
knows
the same
why.
time, it seems like a crossroad. It seems like a crossroad for
No, that's where magic people are. Magic people come to gather there in that Niger space almost.
And I just hope that some of all our Biafran brothers, Rewa, Oduduwa, Ishekiri, Ijo, all of them, they understand that this region is a special area, and that region is one of the area too. They found the earliest human DNA, the paternal human DNA. It's the earliest one, and that one is the one that they found was in Cameroon, somewhere in Cameroon there. But Cameroon and Nigeria, remove the border, they are basically the same people there.
Of course.
So we take ourselves for granted. The earliest man that they found, I think the A haplogroup 0
forefather
was found in that area.
Forefather, I have a question for you. So how come Nigeria has electricity power problem, but they actually sell electricity and power to other neighboring countries?
That is a question for another.
Can you bring the camera up, please? I need to see people's faces.
That is a discussion for another. A question for another discussion, because we know that the problem we have in our country.
You think it has something to do with like Nigeria has like tendency of an imperialistic tendency? Do you think
not necessarily.
Do you think that they're using those electrical power that they give to this neighboring countries as some kind of Trojan horse to control their power?
I think if you ask me, I think there is an innate understanding within Nigerians that they are connected to all groups, and they don't tend to discriminate. They don't tend to discriminate against fellow Africans for some reason. Nigerians don't do that. They tend to innately link themselves to like South Africans now, or Cameroonians, Benin Republic or Niger. We don't tend to have problem with them. We tend to feel like they are part of us, and it is true they are. Nigerians are still radiating population from the Nigerian area to other regions because Nigeria is so densely populated. So people are still coming out from Nigeria. Go ahead.
Forefather, just on the issue.
Bring camera, forefather, please.
On the issue of what do you call it? On the issue of the lights.
I can't see who's speaking now.
On the issue of the lights we have with other countries, it's all bilateral agreements, because it's well known when Nigeria was damming the Niger, there was an agreement. Other countries could dam the Niger River in their own, where it passes through their own country, and the agreement was, okay, let's dam it closer to the Atlantic, and then we'll give you power so you don't dam it. It's almost similar to what's happening in Ethiopia today. Ethiopia is damming the Nile, and Egypt is not happy because it's going to affect the water, and so Ethiopia is saying, oh, look, we'll dam it and we'll give you electricity. However, Ethiopia built their dam, and they were supposed to have 12 turbines. I think they have only 6. So that means it's a lower capacity. So it's not about the power we give. It's all about economics that we give to those countries. It's not a way of control. Nigeria gives power to Togo. We supply gas. We have the gas. These people are supposed to buy the gas. They buy it. So there's nothing like it's not attached to any like trying to control them or anything.
Yeah, but how do you explain
because of damming of Niger?
How do you explain the government? How do you explain the federal government? How do you explain the government in Nigeria using?
Let's not drift away, because that is not the topic at all. Let's not drift away into that conversation right now. Dexter, jailbreak. Hold break key. He doesn't stop. Do you hear us, Dexter? I don't know. And they said, why do you add this audio?
In Nigeria.
He's not hearing us. He's not hearing us. All right. So let me see. Jide has joined us, and Prime Minister Prime Minister Ekpa's friend is there. I wanted to finish playing that lady's this is so that some people hear what she was saying.
No, it's enough. Honestly, it's enough. That's
because she actually said some things about
it's
burning
just
the
hard
country.
for my ears, man. I don't want to
The
hear
reason
that.
why I'm saying is good to so that some people hear it because they will come here and say, "Oh, they didn't do anything wrong. They didn't say anything wrong." She's talking about burning the country down. I don't know why people come online and say they didn't hear that. Like they didn't hear them say that they want to burn the country down. If people are doing those sort of things, you have to call them out and say, no, this is our country. If you burn it down, who is going to remain in there? There's not going to be any country left. So I felt like I need to play it because what I was hearing, there's a compelling reason to listen to what they are saying, because then you can hear about their grievances, why they feel so strongly about this. Because I hear some of the stuff she's talking about, how the Nigerian government is treating the people, and who is the true terrorist, all those things. I think it's worth listening to, so that some people hear it and also hear the thing that they are saying that is actually breaking the law. If they said those things in the country that she is in right now about that country she's in, they will throw her in prison. If you come out in the UK and say you burn the UK down, Jesus Christ, you will not see the light of day. Very quickly they will take you. Let me finish playing it.
I mean, we are going to continue this same call, this same place that our Prime Minister Simon Ekpa has. Nobody will stop that. I want to let Biafrans know that our Prime Minister Simon Ekpa has set all the structures in place for Biafra restoration from the beginning to the end. So taking him or removing him to go and ask him questions to delay or to disrupt our Finland Convention for the next 1 or 2 weeks, it is not going to have any effect. Rather, it is going to make all Biafrans more determined in the restoration of the independent state of Biafra. We are a full-fledged country. We have met all the criteria for a full-fledged country. We conducted our referendum where over 50 million Biafrans have voted for the independent state of Biafra. We've conducted different topics, we did a Twitter poll where 98% of Biafrans want to exit Nigeria because Nigeria is a killing ground. No sensible person in the world, no sane leader, no individual that has his or her onions right, we ever support the existence of a killing ground called Nigeria, where people are killed in their thousands every single day. No sane leader will support that. So anything that Nigerian government is doing, anything the local Finland authorities is doing, I want to assure them that inviting our Prime Minister or delaying him or making him not to be part of the Finland Convention, which he holds dear to his heart, that will not stop nothing. We are the people. The power belongs to us. The laws of self-determination allow us to rule ourselves, to determine who is going to be our leader. And Biafrans have done that clearly over the past 2 years after they kidnapped and renditioned our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya. He is right now in Nigeria DSS dungeon. They did that because they think that when they take our leader, Nnamdi Kanu, there will be nothing about Biafra anymore. That was their wish. That was their thoughts. And now they are partnering with the local authorities in Finland to invite our Prime Minister to disrupt our Finland Convention. And let me ask everyone listening to me, if the rendition of our leader Nnamdi Kanu to Nigeria, if that didn't work, what made Nigerian government think that inviting someone Ekpa by the local police in Finland will work? They know it's not going to work. It's even going to get worse. It's going to get more brutal because we are determined for Biafra restoration. Nobody can stop that. We are all aware that all these are all the crooks perpetuated by the Nigerian government to disrupt what we are doing. And I want to ask Biafrans, before I finalize my talk, let me ask you, when has self-determination, when has the right of a people to rule themselves, when has it become a crime? Where has it become terrorism? The world watches. Biafrans, every weekend, we have to raise money. The reason we raise money is because Nigerian government uses reintegrated terrorists to continue to kill our people. They make our youth disappear forcefully. People are taken away from Biafra land and they dump them in prisons in the north, in the west. No, without any justice, without any lawyer. Our leader Nnamdi Kanu was renditioned from Kenya by the same Nigerian government, by the same people that went to complain to the local authorities in Finland about our Prime Minister Simon Ekpa. Our leader was renditioned from Kenya. The United Nations set up a committee and told Nigerian government to release our leader Nnamdi Kanu. They refused to do that. 3 law courts in Nigeria has told Nigerian Tinubu government to release Nnamdi Kanu. The terrorist government run by Nigeria refused to release him. And now they think without releasing Nnamdi Kanu, if they incarcerate our PM briefly, that is gonna make any change. Just think their major reason is to make sure that we take away our PM Simon Ekpa briefly, and then there will be no declaration of Biafra. Hell, oh my goodness. If they know how Biafrans are prepared this time, they will just leave our leader within the next 30 minutes. Because what is coming both to Nigeria and to any international country that participates, become part of anything to disrupt the restoration of Biafra, they will get themselves killed. On that note, I thank Biafrans. I want to let you all know our PM is hale and happy. It is just a brief disruption to our plans, which is not going to affect anything in any way. I want all the 40 states of Biafra to be resolute, more than ever at this time. The Biafra Liberation Army, our Biafra Defense Forces, now is the time to be more resolute. Our PM has given instruction. Any terrorist in Nigeria, any Nigerian military, Nigerian police, Nigerian Air Force, anything wearing Nigerian uniform inside Biafra land, they are the reintegrated terrorists that Nigeria want to use to kill and stop Biafra. So the Biafra Defense Forces, from this moment, you must increase whatever you have been doing. This is the time to increase it towards our final restoration. Our demands are very, very clear. Remove all the terrorists wearing Nigerian military and police uniform in Biafra land. Secondly, release our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Again, whatever investigation you are doing with our Prime Minister, you need to release him ASAP, because what he is doing is saving our lives. We must be alive for our freedom. So anything, anybody, all the terrorists in Biafra land, from this moment, just be aware that the forces we are going to release as a government from today is going to be very, very deadly. Because you cannot come to our land, kill us, and then go free. We must defend ourselves. This order is from our PM. Nobody can stop that. What we are doing is what United Nations has given us the right to do, the right to self-determination. Nobody can take that away from us. We have met all the criteria to be a nation. We have a geographical area. We have the 40 states in Biafra with all the administrators in charge in homeland. We have created alliances with nations. We have lobbies that are working for us. We've met all the criteria as a nation. They killed us before, between 1967 and 1970. After the war, they gave all Biafrans only 20 pounds, regardless of how much you have in your bank account. Some Biafrans have millions of dollars, millions of pounds in their account. They gave Biafrans, every single Biafran, only 20 pounds after the war. And what has that 20 pounds done? That 20 pounds have made Biafrans all over the world the best in what they do. So nobody can stop that. And our declaration will happen in Finland between November 29th and December 3rd, 2024. Nothing shakes, nothing moves. We must restore Biafra by 2nd December. Thank you so much, everyone.
So, as you can see, she seems to be the leader of the movement now. And she seems to be breathing brimstone and fire, and wants to burn everything down. And the Nigerian police force, they are terrorists.
The grip
And
must continue.
yeah. And you see, that is breaking the law. Some of the things she said there, if she said it about the nation she was in, they would put her in jail. The fact that she's still hanging around saying all these things, but there is another part of me that looks at her and think, look at this lady. She's charismatic. She's can articulate her points. And if this lady spent half of that energy trying to fix Nigeria, we had 5 of that inside Nigeria. Okonjo-Iweala is out now, fighting to repair the country. Maybe we'll get somewhere. But instead, what we tend to focus our energy on is going in the direction that doesn't lead to much, no progress, zero. What are you going to get out of this? It's just the same as the government. The government is trying to tear the country down. You are trying to tear the country down. You are all on the same side. That's all I see. What is the difference between her and the government that are tearing our country down now? There's not that much difference, really. Who is that? Estenica, you want to say something about what she just said?
Right. Yeah. So the thing is, we will all agree, right? There's a problem. There are grievances, right? These grievances are legit. You know, there's a problem. There's economic problem. There's security problem, and there's infrastructure problem. These problems are real, right? My only problem is the approach. I feel like if the proper way to do this is not to advocate for Biafra by denigrating other people from other regions, right? You know, the focus should have been on the elite, and then try to unite with the working class. Because if you go to Igbo land, there are still the governors, there are still the ruling class are still there, running the whole region, right? And they're not even in line with the whole movement of Biafra. So that's the confusing part of it. If you're gonna have if you want to separate from a country, right? At least the governing elites in that region should be part of that process, right? You're not just going to form a small group and then go, hey, we want to secede. When the leading the leaders in the country in the region doesn't want to secede, right? Their grievances is correct. It's right. There's no doubt about that. You know, there's a problem. There's issues that need to be addressed that the federal government is not addressing. But the thing is, the proper way to go about it, like if it was me, what I would do is I would form a political party, and it wouldn't be just focused on a political party. And that's what I mentioned here earlier. They need to have a political party so they can run, since they are popular, run, in the local government, in the state government, so they can control all the resources coming in there, so they can use it to push the agenda forward, right? Which is, making the region good, fixing the problems in the region, right? Once they control the resources coming in, the budget, they can turn the region how they want it to be. Also, they need to implement social programs. Like I said, these guys get millions in dollars, right? Why don't you set up a social program? Not for just having a social program, but you can use it as a propaganda tool, right? You can use that and say, hey, look how much we were able to achieve, right? We have a mobile, I suggest, I told someone, I was like, hey, why can't these guys just buy land, create a farmland, or just build properties, and call it, this is IPOP property, have their school, they need to have IPOP library, donate funds to universities and have IPOP, classrooms and whatnot, use it to push their name in a positive light. They could do this whole thing positively without, engaging in violence with the government. There's a way that they could do it. The government won't even pay attention because first of all, they're not attacking the government. They are, crying over real grievances, right? Everybody in every region will side with them. The Yoruba, the Hausa, they will be like, hey, these guys are on point. You know what I'm saying? They got mobile hospitals treating poor people that can't afford to go to the hospitals. They got, screw it, have a mobile power bank. Charge people's, charge people's phone for free. Have like a cafe, have like a, something, have like a research center, If you have any idea, you can come in and research center. We can fund your research. Have a studio for recording music. Have something, you know what I mean? This like I'm usually like, if you look at this, guys, and then you look at the Black Panther Party. Black Panther Party was just a small organization, and they were able to do all these things. They had mobile hospitals, dental, you know what I'm saying, mobile dental offices, you know what I mean? And then they had like programs where they were giving people social help. They were giving food, they were giving clothing and all that. Why can't these guys do it? They got the money. If they do this, they will get more respect and more solidarity from people like myself. I will give solidarity to them. I will donate money to them if they're doing all the social programs. You know what I'm saying? It's part of the propaganda methods. You know what I mean? Because what you're doing, you're showing the state government that, look, with the little funds that we have, we could achieve that. How come you're not doing that with all the billions that you get from the federal government? They can make a point.
Can I ask, could that be a reason for one to suspect that they are not necessarily a proper movement for like that actually wants to better the lives of their people, but just agents of chaos?
That's the thing. So look,
that they use.
Yeah, they have the whole stay at home thing, right? But these guys they're not economists, right? The stay at home affects ordinary people because in Igbo land, most people own their own businesses. These are sole proprietorships, right? People don't pay tax. So how is it affecting the federal government? The only way that you can shut down the economy to affect the federal government is if the labor union go on strike. You know, all people working for federal work, federal parastatals go on strike. That would affect the federal government. Not when the lady that's hawking banana is sitting at home. How is she gonna buy food for her kids? How is she gonna pay rent? It's affecting the people negatively. And but these guys, it shows you that they're not smart. These are not smart people. I mean, Simon came over here. You can hear him talk, right? He doesn't articulate any point. All he's doing is talking about how, you know, Biafra will become another state, another Finland state. You know, he's going to have a Finland constitution, which I'm pretty sure he hasn't even read, right? This guy's have no plans. This is the grip. They're making millions, sitting in their nice apartments, and urging people to go in and fight the military with the helicopters and freaking guns. Like, what are we doing? You know?
Thank you. Let's bring. I think all our politics is there. He hasn't actually submitted any this in all our politics. Are you there?
I'm here now. I'm waiting for the show to start now.
It makes you look like we are not seeing you, so you're not there.
No, everybody is just talking as well. I'm waiting for you to officially start the show so we can go around. But I don't know, maybe
we have officially started though. We have officially started. So what do you make of this now? You spend most of the time of the week saying that they didn't arrest him. So where are you now?
I stand by what I said. I need an evidence. I need evidence to say yes.
But the lady just told you that. The lady just told you that it's part of the organization. That they held
I don't. Before that, I don't take the news media. So why would I take her serious? I do my own thing by myself now.
Okay. So what do
I
you
didn't see when the news broke, right? I was fortunate enough to actually, get hold of it within the first few minutes before I even get hours. So what I noticed is the first newspaper that broke the news, which is a kind of a national newspaper in Finland, YLE. They took the news from police website, from the police department. That is the National Bureau of Investigation of Police in Finland, that's how it's supposed to be. You either get the right source from the police or from the court. So they took the national newspaper took the story from the police website. So all you have to do is to go to the website. Just as I'm saying it, National Bureau Investigation of Finland. The news is the second. Go to the news section, the second in line. When you read this section, when you read that news, they just say 5 Nigerian with Finnish citizens. No name was mentioned. So every other thing you hear that, he was this, all those ones, everybody just they had his own news source. just to make the story sweet. Now, very few newspaper actually reported it the way the real source reported it, which is Voice of America. That is the only international news. I know that every other international, even BBC, House, PG, all of them are just copy and paste, copy and paste. That's one reason. Another reason I'm still holding my what I said earlier on is within an hour, all the national newspaper in Nigeria write the same thing. The same thing exactly. All of them. And I was like, I know when Nnamdi Kanu was adopted and brought to Abuja, even when they see her for TV, some of the news agency are still being curious. So I was like, something is not, something there, something is wrong. Yeah, something is not. I can't quite lay my hand on it, but something is not there. something is not just right about the whole news. I said, well, I thank God that it's a developing story, right? So I'm waiting to be proved wrong. I want to be wrong. I really want to be wrong. But we'll see how it goes. That's my take there. I'm still holding my conclusion on what is going on because it's just it doesn't make sense to me the way the whole thing started. And for the fact you can still go read it. You can go to the website right now and pull it up and read it. It's not be long statement. I just think about 3 paragraphs also. It's very self-explanatory. That's the original story
Yeah,
before
but
newspapers and news, everybody begin to interpret
that
them.
work to him though is confirming it, so we don't need it
My
from
brother, see, as I said, it's a developing story, Abi. We'll see. Let's see how it goes. The next couple of days or weeks, we'll see what happens. We'll know the truth.
somehow something I don't know what's going to happen. Dexter, what do you make of this? Dexter, you look like you are in the cold or something.
I feel that it's a smoke screen. There's something else going on. At least they don't spend 2.2 billion and give the man. They are still pushing for the build of the tax bill to go on, and nobody's talking about it. And those are serious two things that are actually happening right now. So I just feel this one like a smoke screen. But again, I could be wrong with time.
Okay, we'll see how it's going to shake out. Dexter, what do you make now? Are
Yeah,
you
well, I kind
happy
of
with the
take.
arrest?
I'm indifferent about the arrest of Simon Ekpa, not because I support him or anything, but because the truth about it is, I think we are. If you read, okay, let me ask a question. We seem to be making the argument on one side, like the argument is going to happen in the way we imagine, but the truth is that it's not going to happen that way. What if the Finnish government now go about doing some investigations? Then they now come and agree and say, oh, from what we found out, oh, these guys have really been marginalized. From the story we've heard, these people have really been marginalized. We really pity them. We think they deserve a country of their own. What will Nigeria do? Tell me, what will we do?
I think after you break the law, they don't care what
That's not true. My brother, go
Gaza,
and
Israel
read.
was attacked. Now, was Israel not attacked? But yet their prime minister is being indicted.
Don't ever use the Israel narrative. You know why? Because if you use the Israel narrative, there's even more validity for what these guys are saying. The marginalization that we are talking about, is it not the same Israel? Is it not the same thing?
No, I'm using the idea that Israel was attacked and they were responding, and yet their prime minister is facing international criminal court because they consider him breaking the law. So
it's not the same thing.
No matter how justified you are not still supposed to break the law. That's the point.
No, you don't seem to get. You see, the point is that this when you are
explain where you go. Explain, Taya. There's nothing to get. We understand the land we are living in. There's nothing that is more special about your understanding about the Ebonics than my own look on the whole thing. You see, I beg your pardon, everybody. I don't want us to keep this rhetoric.
Sorry, Jago, I kind of differ. Look, you must free speech. I can have an opinion. You might not agree with it, but it doesn't mean that you come and start shutting down.
Sorry, my brother. All I wanted to underline is what's going on in Palestine is not the Biafra quest. Nothing at all alike.
I'm not saying it's the Biafra quest. And look, the moment somebody starts getting agitated about topics, then there's a problem. You can't be getting the moment they say something. Look, first of all, we cannot deny. What I was trying to say is this: if you bring the Palestine issue, the people that are there, if you even follow the news in Nigeria on Arise TV, there was the analyst that was making the same thing. The people that you are saying the Palestine, the people in Biafra, this Simon Ekpa, they can use that as a legal story. The question is this: was there the story of the Biafran story? Is it real? We seem to push it under the carpet in this whole thing.
No,
It's
sorry,
the Biafran story. See
sorry,
my point,
sorry for
forefathers.
interrupting
Give
you.
me 1
I just
minute.
wanted
Give me 1
to
minute.
try it, the case
Yes,
that you
see
are
my
making,
point.
so you can
Forefathers,
make
see
it
my
make
point.
sense. Yeah,
My
go
point
ahead.
is this: we are looking at the argument in one side. If you, it's just like you're playing a strategy game, and then you have your strategy, and then you just look at it based on your strategy, you lose. You have to look at it from different angles. How can this story go? And I asked you the question. Simon Ekpa is arrested by Finland. We're all looking at it like, oh, Simon Ekpa is arrested, is good, is wonderful. Things flip. The way the world is, the world changes. The way people reason, it changes. Simon Ekpa can be arrested now. The Finnish people are doing their investigation. And then the next thing, he has a fantastic case, and they say, oh, look, is that what you are going through? He brings evidence of genocide to the Finnish government, and they start having pity for him. And they start saying, oh, really, is that what your people have been going through? Why has your government not taken care of you? Look, all these things happen. It only takes one person to be among the people there that has sympathy, and the person will start seeing it from a different angle. So my point is that the way we seem to be rejoicing, oh, Simon Ekpa is arrested and it doesn't mean that it's going to go the narrative that we all have that, oh, it's going to go. And let me tell you the truth. If you read history, when people are oppressed for very long time and they keep on hammering on that oppression, and there's a day the dam will break loose. The dam will break loose and the water will flow. And the point is that if you don't manage the situation, if you don't address it internally, if you don't address it from inside, it will come from outside and it will break loose. And that's all I'm trying to say. So it's easy for me to look at it from the narrative of, oh yes, he's been arrested, what that woman is saying is nonsense. Oh, that is the very easy. It's just like the US election. People were just analyzing, oh, Kamala Harris is a attorney general, this one and that one and this one. The next thing, who won? Who won? Because the people were not buying that again. It will take people, if somebody keeps saying something over and over, a time will come where people will start saying, look, there must be some sense in it. And the more you keep incarcerating people for saying that thing, the more you give them validity if they don't back down. So the question is this: the solution to Simon Ekpa, what is the solution to the Biafran story? Whether you like it or not, the question is, in Nigeria, did that story exist? Is it a true story? Is it a real story, or is it a fiction? Is it a made-up story? And if it's a real story, then it behoves on Nigeria, on the Nigerian people, to address that story, address it, address the injustice, and then move on. But you don't sweep it under the carpet and say, it will not happen. It will keep on popping up. It will
What is
not
the
go
evidence?
nowhere. It will keep on popping up, and you still have people like
Do
Simon
you
Ekpa
think
coming
that
up.
your suggestion, which is a fair suggestion, do you think that Biafra is pushing that mindset at all? They are not. They're not pushing that. They're pushing something completely different. You are now fabricating it to what may appease everybody else in the way they look at it. But the fact of the matter is, there is a story called Biafra. It happened, and it was a terrible part of our history as a collective nation. And that nation has not, the people of the East have not been necessarily given their just rewards. We can appreciate this. Having said that, the push is completely obtuse. It's completely selfish, and it completely misses the narrative. That war was lost. You have to get into your head. The whole thing was lost to you people. And therefore, in that loss, you have to take that on board. You have to take that on board and understand how to move forward in this nation called Nigeria. Otherwise, you are, I beg your pardon, let me just land like this. Otherwise, you are a problem in that nation.
So Jago, perfect point, but let me tell you, you can't push a narrative.
There we go, more nonsense.
And you can't push a narrative on a people, and then the last point you made, that they must accept. You don't do
There's
that.
no so it's up to me.
That's
Let's not do too and fro so that others can be able to speak.
You can't push that
See,
narrative.
Sunanja,
I'm not
Yes.
pushing the narrative.
you
I'm
said
saying
something. You said something that actually make me come on, right? That the passion that these people have, you wish Nigerians have it towards Nigeria. It is because exactly what this our brother is talking about. They have a story. They have something that is what you are saying. That is reverberating through their passion. Look, somebody say if you want to know the future, if you want to know far, you have to look back. Yes, they were defeated before. That is not the end of the story. See, see the Nigerian story, what happened, either our independence
please,
or the civil
who's
war.
speaking?
Ovie, try to keep it brief so that we can go to the next
Yes,
person.
either the independence or the civil war. We will never know the true story for now. You know why? Because the actors are still very much alive and they are still very active. So maybe that in the next 50 years, 100 years, we will begin to know really what's happen. But if you want to actually go to some declassified documents, you understand that Nigeria has never been won. The grievances were never actually taken care of, even before the independence. So within the Apple, so we go back before the independence. So now lie, the future. There's no oneness in our future unless we won't deceive ourselves. There's
Yeah,
none.
I think there is actually. We have no choice. Otherwise,
Okay.
if it's either that way or extinction. It's simple. That's the only part we have for the future. Let me just share this thing quickly about what some people are saying about Finland not knowing about what Ekpa is doing.
The loans. We knew this. We had a great secret service. All the politicians' phones were tapped. All the politicians' mail was opened. Everything that any major politician did in Nigeria, we knew in hours.
So the point there is that if they did that then, what makes it they don't know what Ekpa is doing? They already knew. They already know. They already know what this in Nnamdi Kanu was doing in the.
Pentagon listen to everybody.
Don't act as if they just sit there. They know. They are letting them cause chaos in Nigeria. I think Jide is you now, isn't it? Okay, Jide, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much, forefathers. Nice to meet everyone. Prime Minister Jagun, Eccentric, Prof. Dexter, Professor Mr. Jonaba, and Lokopi. It's nice to meet everyone. Yeah, I've listened to what Dexter have to say, and Eccentric, and even Jagun. So this is my own point of view. Like, we tend to, I keep saying this thing. Perhaps we know it, but we don't realize it, or we are ill-informed. I don't know. But the point is, like, this problem, we don't put this into context. We don't contextualize this issue. This issue of Biafra, it's not a new problem. It's not unique to Nigeria. That's what we fail to realize. This problem has happened in other parts of the world. Even before I talk about the geopolitical context of Biafra, let's look at Yugoslavia. If you look at when Yugoslavia was in existence, it was a socialist country, a country that was sovereign, a country that never had any influence from any imperial power. They had their own sovereignty. The country was stable and properly functioning until they had contact with IMF and World Bank. They started to get loans from IMF and World Bank. Subsequently, they keep getting loans. And these loans comes with conditions. Those conditions influenced their socialist ideology, their socialist program that made their country stable and prosperous. Yugoslavia had different ethnic groups like Nigeria, Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo, 250. Yugoslavia had different ethnic groups. You had the Bosnians, you had the Serbs, you had the Croats. They are different. Some were Muslims, some were Nazis, some were socialists. They were different. In fact, they are more different than Nigeria. When things started to become difficult for Yugoslavia due to the economic policies of IMF and World Bank, things started to get very difficult. There was poverty. Unemployment got to the rise. There was housing issues. The economic system in Yugoslavia started to become destabilized. High inflation due to the fact that they were getting loans from IMF and World Bank. What happened? There were ethnic tensions among these ethnic groups that were centralized and they were unified by a common goal, by a common ideology in Yugoslavia. They started to fight each other. Guess what happened? The same imperial powers that are controlling us up to now, they took that advantage. Uncle Sam went there. You know Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam went there. They went there to prop up terrorist groups in Bosnia, prop them up to have their own to have their own country. They went to Croatia. They went to prop up terrorist groups there to cause instability in that country, both abroad and in that country, to prop up instability. They went to different ethnic groups. The Serbs were the ones that were trying to resist. The Serbs, they didn't like the Serbs, so they decided to create instability. And this instability created more complications because they wanted to secede, you know. So eventually, they started to fight each other. They started to kill each other, commit genocide on each other. Until the 1990s, the economy became extremely weak. Their political system became extremely weak. So US had to go and intervene with NATO. They went to bomb the country to smithereens and made them secede. Those countries today, they have their so-called independence, but they are worse off than they were, far worse off than they were than 50 years ago. The same thing is going on in Nigeria under a different context because Nigeria is a colonial entity anyways. That's been like that for centuries. What we have in Nigeria with the Biafran system is the British had already created Nigeria like this, under deception, it has been there for over 100 years. In the 19th century, Nigeria did not contain the northern region. There is a reason why the northern region was part of Nigeria. They realized that if Nigeria is not if Nigeria is cohesive and they speak with one voice and they are more monogeneous, it would be easier for them to, it would be more difficult for them to control a group of people that are rebelling. But when they are more heterogeneous with the northern part that was part of Niger, in the late 19th century, the part that is called Northern Nigeria, that's Hausa Fulani, was part of Nigeria eventually. Before it was just Southern Nigeria that was a Nigerian colony. Before they now joined up the northern part, which was part of Niger. The reason why they did that was to continue to maintain their imperial dominance.
That's not accurate. That's not accurate.
That's accurate.
My guy, thank you, Jagon. Thank you, Jagon. You don't for your beginning from the Savior story now rubbish. I'm sorry to use that word. What are you talking about, my guy? People are listening for God's sake.
Let's take it easy now. Let's be polite now. Let's not do this.
No, well, the thing is, people must be responsible for their history that they're pushing out. That was really terrible history, my brother.
It's not terrible. It's not you are wrong. It's not terrible.
Don't use for that one.
It's not terrible. I am very confident of it. It's not terrible.
Is generally
you don't agree.
this thing. I disagree with Jide too, but let's him carry on.
Let's
finish. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that's how they maintain their imperial dominance. Whenever there are differences, it is very easy for them to maintain their dominance. The same thing happened with Sudan and India and Pakistan. The same thing. It's the same rhetoric. The same thing. Pakistan seceded from India. It was a colonial framework. Pakistan seceded from India. It was the same idea. And even up to now, India and Pakistan, they hate each other so much. The same thing with Sudan and South Sudan. So what I'm saying is this system, this Biafra secession, this, no matter the emotions, I understand the emotions and the anger and whatever. But what I'm saying is all this complaint about Simon Ekpa is part of the control because they cannot afford to allow that one voice. Like the system, it's created that way. So when there is this movement, this rebel to secede from the states, that is how they maintain their dominance. So that is why it is to maintain the imperial dominance of the West. This so-called entity called Nigeria, where some people want to secede. You have the other one, the Oduduwa Republic, going to Britain to have a mandate. These are all symptoms of what has been created. The solution, now what is my solution? Well, instead of using this grievance to say you want to secede out of Nigeria, why not create a situation where the energy you are using to rebel against the state to say, oh, you want to secede away from Nigeria. Nigeria is the problem. You want to secede. Yes, Nigeria is the problem. Why not use that energy to actually compete, like democratically lobby against, like, okay, this is your interest as Igbo people in Nigeria, this is your interest. Like, what are your interests? What do you really need to actually develop? Like, what do you really need? Do you want Nigeria to be sovereign? Like, what are your mandates that should be part of the context called Nigeria? Instead of saying you want to secede, if you secede, who are you going to associate with? You're still going to associate with your neighboring countries, with so-called Nigeria, with Cameroon. You cannot say you want to exist on your own. It's not going to work. That's never worked. You still have to, so you have to have your own mandates and bring up your mandates, and every other region should bring up their, and the mandate should actually be channeled towards development of Nigeria. But I'll stop there for now. I wonder what they disagree about. These are facts, but I'll just stop there.
I think what they disagree about is that when you said they didn't want, they created Nigeria because they wanted us to disagree with each other. Then they created
No, I didn't say they wanted us to disagree with each other. They took it out of context. It's because of the emotions. I didn't say they wanted us to just hate each other. What I said was, to maintain their dominance, it is very important that there is no one voice, that there is fragmentation.
The reason why people disagree with that argument is because if you look at other countries that were formed too, some of them were basically more homogeneous than Nigeria, but yet they still control them anyway. So control is control. Whether you are the same tribe or no tribe, they will still control you. As a matter of fact, the smaller you are, the easier you are to control, to be fair. Let me see. That at least that's the theory. That's from what I can see.
I think they did it for economic reasons.
If you are a big power and you see a small nation of 5 million, is it not easy for you to influence that nation than to influence a nation of 200 million?
That's not true. Empirically, you have small nations that are not easy.
But it's not even about population size. I'm talking about.
History suggests that small nations are chickens to be.
That's not true. That's not true.
You are just watching Palestine suffer. You are watching Ukraine suffer.
That's not. Netherlands actually was a world power for over 100 years, for a century. Netherlands is a small nation.
A century in 3,000 years. Okay, that's quite nice.
100 years, Netherlands was a world power. Netherlands actually, what you call New York, the Netherlands, the Dutch people were actually in New York.
When did that happen? Even when did Netherlands become a world power?
Before the British. So
the Dutch East India Company, is that the one you are referring to?
Yes.
Okay, that was quite related.
The Netherlands. My point is that you can't. That being a world power is not about population. It's not about population. Is a good factor to grow an economy, but it's not. But being a world power is not because you are small. Then that's a narrative that's the old narrative, and you can't push it again. You can't keep pushing that kind of narrative like, oh, you're small, so you can't sell that to people. Oh, because you're going to be small, who are you going to be? You're not going to be big. No, they don't need.
Let me. Okay, the UN Security Council. How many of them is the size of the so-called Biafra it was formed?
Let me ask you a question.
Permanent member of the Security Council. Name one of them that is the size of the Biafra nation that is going to be formed.
Let me ask you a question, forefathers. How big do you think the UK is?
No, I'm asking you now. 66 million.
I just want to know. See, look, you're going too far. You're going too far. You have many nations that can stand their own.
The UK.
How big do you think the UK is?
The UK is bigger than Nigeria.
Forefathers, you are joking. You are joking. Go and
let me explain to you now.
Just Google your map and check
landmass. Is it landmass?
Just Google now. Just Google and check the square meters.
Landmass. Hold on, calm down. Let me see. UK owns Australia, Canada,
don't,
New Zealand.
No,
because you need to understand. Because you seem to
the
think
UK
that
owns
nation
a
is a small
sovereign
nation.
nation like Australia. The UK owns Canada.
They literally created it. Who are the people there? They are people from the UK. Keep believing what you want to believe. They own the US, they own Canada, they belong to the Five Eyes. So you don't understand.
So forefathers, what you are saying now is that means you will now say that the Yorubas own, or the Beninese own Benin Republic.
My brother, you are not taking this subject seriously. Your forefather was bringing your attention. You asked about the girth of a nation like the UK against Nigeria. Forefather now explains to you the girth, and the girth stretches from Australia all the way to the Americas. Now you are going to start mucking around.
Sorry,
with
no,
my
sorry,
brother. It's not
I don't
good.
agree.
That is not how to negotiate and
Australia, you can't
to discuss.
You can't bring sovereign nations and now say that is this.
Bro.
What is the size of
What
it?
you see? Calm down a minute. Calm down a minute, my brother. What forefather is bringing your attention to is the power that they have had over 400 years that brings about this geography. And this geography, under the rulership of their royal institutions in this country, they are the sovereign. If you don't want to understand that, you'll not argue with yourself, I beg, come off the screen and go and face the mirror, argue with yourself there. But for what you're dealing with here, it's a crock of nonsense. You're not catching up. You're not with it. No, I don't mean to rubbish the brother. I don't mean to rubbish it, but I would like him to take some kind of correction or understanding within what he's saying. You can't just come and start blowing.
I take exception to point whatever it is you have. A sovereign nation, you can't look. The prince, the king was recently rejected in New Zealand. And you're coming here and telling me, look, the people of those countries will be upset with what they are talking about.
He's still the sovereign in New Zealand. Even if he was rejected, it doesn't matter. They are the same people.
So you can't say they are the same people. Look, you are insulting those people. If you go and tell a Canadian person that they are the same as the British,
oh my God! Apart from the French side, the English side will agree that they are part of, they are same as the English. Make no mistake. It's like an Igbo man going to form another country in New Zealand, and suddenly you say, "Oh, they are not Igbo people anymore." Come on, man. Let's not do that. It's still this thing.
So
you guys are shifting the goalposts.
So, but I see the point I was making was
exactly. That's what they are doing.
Let me not shift the goalposts. Let me put it technically in one nation. Still, are the Igbos in Nigeria 66 million? Are they 66 million? No, they are not.
Yeah, but it's not even about the population size means a lot. It means a lot. But there are many dynamics into how the control. It could be diversity. It could be population size. It's not just one thing. Like, look at what's going on in Syria. When when they're trying to wreck Syria, they use the Kurds. The Kurds are part of Syria. There's a way they use some ethnic groups to try to cause instability. This is what they do all over. So
we know that, but the point we are making, the point we were arguing about was that whether the size of a nation matters. And clearly it does. When you are breaking apart, in the entire black population don't have any massive nation, and Europeans do. They have a massive bloc. As a matter of fact, NATO acts like a punch. They act like a group of nations of about 500 million. Do you have that in Africa? We don't have that. The only nation that stands a chance is Nigeria with 230 something million. And then we are talking about let's slice it up. You can't emerge if you don't have a major power from your population.
You're arguing against his point. Listen to Jide's point. He's making a very good point about how they use like small groups in every country that have like that.
I'm aware of that now. I think that's not the point I was arguing for. Yeah, that's true. That's why I was saying that these people could be agents of chaos. They are using them to control our leaders. Because if you have a leader that wants to do the right thing and you have a separatist group out there ready to take arms from foreigners, then you can see how easily they can cause chaos. They will wage a war of instability on that nation, and they will threaten your leader that if you don't do what we want, this is what's going to happen to you. And it will happen because you have gullible people in that nation that are willing to do that kind of stuff to the nation.
Yes. The same thing in Libya. Look at how they destroyed Libya.
It's not necessarily.
They use them to people that are trying to succeed.
The grievances will be legit, like kind of like in Ukraine, right? The grievances of the people before they kicked out the government in 2014 was actually legitimate. But then the imperial power used that as an opportunity to advance their.
That's the thing now. Let's say you have a grievances in your house.
Nationalist ideologies,
If you have a grievances in your house and you take it to the armed robber, come and deal with my parents because they are crazies. Are you going to gain eventually? You're not going to gain eventually. So there's a level of gullibility in taking your issue and handing it over to people that are going to rip it to pieces. Can do whatever they like with you.
I'm gonna tell you this: if Nigeria allied himself with Russia, United States will support Biafra. I tell you right now.
Trust me, it's going to get crazier than this. It's going to get crazier than this. All these are all loopholes that they can use.
Yes, and I hope they try, because if they try, that side will always lose. People forget that Nigeria, they have 35% minority population. That minority population, they are a problem. They are bigger than any of the major groups. So if you think people misunderstand Nigeria, they think all these big groups are just independently big on their own. They can't do, not one group, particular group can do anything on its own in Nigeria. You don't have the power to do that because the others will just gang up on you.
The only thing holding Nigeria together is their alliance with the West. If Nigeria deviates and align themselves with other adversaries of the West will support some of these groups like the Biafra or any minority groups, and then use that to destabilize Nigeria and separate the country.
And the sad thing is that the country will never separate because there are so many people. Like the South want to go on its own. This one wants to go on its own. Everybody wants to go on their own.
It can separate. I'm giving you the groundwork of how it can happen.
The reason why it cannot because it's going to be an everlasting war. It will never, because people will never accept it.
Not necessarily. It depends. Okay, so if Nigeria, let's say Nigeria aligns themselves with Russia, right? And then the West got mad at that, and then they come and try to destabilize the country. I mean, they have people in Nigeria already, like the CIAs and whatnot, and Sheridan Hotel. You go in
and guess what's going to happen? Sudan is going to happen here. Sudan is going to happen here. Who is winning in Sudan now? Who is winning in Sudan?
No, listen.
In both countries.
Fragmentation. It's not like there was in peace or anything.
Who do you think was responsible for the Sudanese separations? It has something to do with the waterways, with you know what I'm saying? It's for geopolitical reasons. The United States wasn't responsible for that. They wanted them to separate for a reason.
They don't want them to separate. They want them weakened. They want them out of the way because the government was trying to work with Russia, and that is what caused all this wahala right now.
But the Southern Sudan and the Northern Sudan issue was more about the discrimination that was going on, and it was discovered that Southern Sudan was massively rich in oil resources. That was the origin of that split.
Yeah, we know that, but Northern Sudan too was also fighting. Northern Sudan is fighting now too, so it doesn't matter.
Northern Sudan is fighting now, but the original split of Sudan was as a result of discrimination.
No, I'm aware of that. I'm aware of that. Let's hold on now, Dexter. Let's bring others in so that they can be able to have their say. Then we can take it easy with the conversation. We'll talk like people that are in the evening parlor. Having a scotch. No, I cannot encourage alcohol taking. No alcohol in this place. What are we going to drink? That is gentleman. I don't know, man. The one that wants to drink yogurt, drink yogurt. Look at the way Loco is looking at me. Loco, thank you for joining us, Loco. Looks like he just came back from the wilderness. So, what do you make of this arrest? Of Simon Ekpa, Nethanyahu arrest warrant, and Chidimma making Nigeria proud, being the queen of Africa, doing better than that white woman that is representing South Africa. At least that one is really what that satisfies me in that issue. So, what do you make of it? This is the Loco.
Hello guys, how you doing? Hope you're having a wonderful day.
Father, I think you are looking for trouble though.
Am I? I don't know.
Okay, okay, maybe you should have been your number before me. Yeah.
Now go ahead since you admit.
Was he first? Sorry about that, John. But I didn't know. Sorry.
All right. I know. So we as emeritus here now, we know we follow due process, we follow protocol.
Exactly.
The number. Exactly. Go ahead. Okay, thank you, sir. Anyway, good day, everybody. Well, for the Ekpa Thunder Fire, it has been long time coming. So, I think the prayer should just be praying now. That bilateral agreement that Nigeria doesn't have with Finland, that they should not overnight have that bilateral agreement and ask for its extradition. Because if he does, then Nigeria, then Jigo Roti die. You understand? You should know that first. And his ardent supporters should know now. I think they've all I've been watching everybody since we be talking trash here. Like, it's because they are in the diaspora. They're not the ones affected by the mayhem of those stupid non-entity causing mayhem in the southeast. If they've been affected, I think they should know better. Although some are blind that are affected and still want to wallow in that devastating state that they find themselves. That's left for them anyway. But thank God that it's been cautioned or questioned. You understand? Maybe detained, but arrested. Not really yet, because it's only after the court session that we can determine if he's been jailed or not. I don't know if what's the outcome of the court today as at now. You understand? For the what was the other one you said about us now? Before Chidimma.
Netanyahu arrest
Yeah,
warrant by
yeah, yeah,
from the
yeah, yeah. It's also a long time coming, because you see, sometimes we say power corrupts, and power corrupts absolutely. When people like Netanyahu was given some set of power by the Americans that they think they are almighty, and this other chicken fly from Ukraine that they're giving power to launch rockets to missiles to Russia, and think it's happening. Now that Trump has entered right now, I think Trump will back out the funds that he's giving to Russia, so to Ukraine. The Ukraine could stand on your own. Now I want to face Russia, because sometimes these useless leaders, I don't know if they forget about tomorrow, or they forget about the day that one day there will definitely be a time when you'll be out of power. What will not be your outcome? Do you think even your bodyguard, your ADCs, or your henchmen that have been with you when you're in power, do you think they will be able to sustain your out of power for more than 10 years? No way, it's not going to be possible. Sometimes you just be fighting war, you don't think of tomorrow. You forget about that the people you're even killing, they're human beings like you. They are humans like you. And the day will be, there will definitely be time when government will change. And that's your cabal you think you have in United Nations will definitely fade away. Government will change the United Nations, and they will come for you. You understand? Don't pray that your enemy will get there. They'll come for your head. So it's also a good one too for Netanyahu and Ekpa, at least for them to be like, threatened with jail term or life imprisonment, if that be the case. Then for Chidimma, well, it's just a tale of another African story. The rejected black beauty now became a queen in a what do I call it, coming from behind. You understand, to become a queen. Despite the fact that her story was supposed to be a what's it called, fairy tale. That story you tell kids, how the rejected one became the shining star, the way you have it in cartoons, all that stuff. You understand, but though she didn't win the crown, but at least in Africa, I think she's Miss Universe. They now crowned her Miss Universe Africa. You understand? So in a nutshell,
Oceania.
And Oceania, yes, exactly, and Oceania. So in a nutshell, she is also a winner. You understand? Because she came from Africa, and she was the rejected queen of Africa, and now she's now the queen of Africa. So it's a good fairy tale. So I'll leave it for now. Until we want to go deep inside, then we'll go further. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and I appreciate Jonaba for giving way. Sorry about missing that you were here first. Thank you for joining us, Jonaba. So, what do you make of Simon Ekpa being arrested? You are a supporter now, isn't it? And also, you do support Netanyahu. Do you, Jonaba?
No. Good evening, forefathers, and
Yeah, welcome,
fellow panelists. The whole story make me feel like when you get gonorrhea. When you get gonorrhea, you pee one time, you feel good. You pee one time, you feel bad.
Experience. Correct guy.
Pastor, you don't reveal too much.
I just experience.
So, in the deeper way, I won't love brother to be jailed the way to be arrested. But then what is going on in this Iran is too much. We the black are not doing ourselves a favor at all. The world is looking down on us, then we look down on ourselves. With all our riches of humanity in every side, our blessings is beyond measure. The whole world look up to us, and they have been stealing our resources now even human resources over the years and natural resources. And we still continue to antagonize our space instead of uniting to see a way forward. We don't know how to have a dialogue. We think it's by force, it's by rhetoric. And I think we have to take a pause here and see a way forward to have a dialogue and move ourselves to the next level and make ourselves competitive in 21st century as a nation or as a Black nation on earth. When I see all that is going on and people take side or people put down others, nobody need to go down for you to go up. The world is big that nobody stop you. And for fight for freedom or agitate for yours, a group of people for empowering themselves, there's nothing wrong, but there's the approach of it may be wrong. And once the approach is not right, then it will cause more problem than what you think you want to achieve in the long run. So I'm hoping that this will be a step back where we all looking to come to the table and have a genuine dialogue a way forward. For Nethanyahu of Israel, it's a blood sucker. So whatever happened to him is on his own. I wish he come to Africa. They will jail him in Medogri jail. He will never come back to the West again. But unfortunately, power lies in the hand of those people that they claim to be above the law, as far as they connected to those big countries like America and the rest. You're going to see that there's okay. UN is just a stick to America. All of those things they just talk is talk. If Americans don't want anything to be done, it's not going to be done. And I think the world is waking up to see the hypocrisy that has been going on over the years, that these people are just deceiving people that want to deceive. And we should not allow ourselves to be deceived. And the only way you don't allow yourself is to be open-minded and learn. And it's not that difficult to learn what is going on around us. That all of this is manipulation and it's about power grabbing in one way or the other. And you can grab power without stepping on other people's toe till you kill them. That is not how to lead. And I hope we all take a pause here and look way forward as a Black people. What do we do to empower ourselves, bring development to our region? How do we empower the little among us instead of stepping down on them? How does what you are offering that you are complaining in the space of Nigeria and what you are offering in your area is that nobody should challenge you. If anybody challenge you there, then it's either your way or highway. Is that the same way, the iron hand? And who is in Nigeria? Who in Nigerian space that is not marginalized? Who? Who is not marginalized? Who today? Marginalization is not what when you say marginalized, meaning what? Who is not marginalized in Nigerian space? Is the Yoruba is not marginalized? Is Hausa is not marginalized? Is the Doma is not marginalized? The elite marginalized and the political figure in Nigeria that they're supposed to make Nigerian work for everybody, they marginalize everybody. It's about interest. So it's not like anybody is a victim and the other person is not. We are all marginalized in our own country. And until we understand that marginalization, that none of us is free, then we can unite and push back on them. Otherwise, it's a game of the elite. Thank you.
Thank you. I think Prof. Data O, thank you for your patience. You've been here for quite a while. I hope are you ready to have your say?
Hello, are you hearing me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Welcome.
Okay, yeah. Let me get to that. So I've listened to most of your speakers, and I just have this to say. I believe today's topic has to do with the arrest of Simon Ekpa. The only thing I have to say is simple. The arrest has happened, but there's something someone in the show said that's very important. You see, till the day Nigeria tells themselves the truth, we're heading nowhere. And I've already said this. We have to accept some truths. Nigeria was just joined, it was joined as most countries were joined of different ethnic groups. And I keep saying it, the biggest problem Nigeria has failed to do is to harmonize the ethnic groups. They're not making any effort. And during this regime, from the Buhari regime to this Tinubu regime, it's like it's worsening. And to me, I don't see why people are rejoicing over his arrest. I don't see why. And I also laugh because the possibility of him being, extradited back to Nigeria is very low. What records does Nigeria have that is proud? What human records do we have? I would just advise almost everybody, listen to what was said on Arise TV. That man summarized everything. So till the time this country thinks better of unifying everybody, till the time this country realizes that the economy has crumbled, people are not happy, and they're not harmonizing things, we're just heading nowhere. So, it's just a very pitiful thing. To me, this is arrest. I just laugh. The possibility of him being brought back to Nigeria is very, very low. Because if he comes out with the evidence is there. And even I even laugh, how can the inspector, is that defense arm of our country, be the people handling this matter? They should have pushed it to either the legal, what I call the legal arm. The defense arm are the people, in short, that even shows how bad the country is. The defense arm, they are the people being threatened of what Simon Ekpa is doing in Finland. So, it gives question to say. And, I say it, Nigeria, I've said it on this show, Nigeria is just like 3 bottles. You tie them together, the rope breaks. You get that same rope, join it, tie the bottles again, it will break. You get the same rope, tie it. Doesn't common sense tell you that rope is getting shorter, the elasticity is decreasing, everything. And there is a time when that rope will cease to exist. And those 3 bottles will have their freedom. That is what Nigeria is. The ones of what they think they're doing it by, they can achieve it by using barbed wire. But it will break. It will remain breaking. So this is all I have to say.
So if I have a question for you. If you have Biafra, how are people going to become citizens? Like, what is citizenship going to be determined? How will it be determined? How would you be a citizen of Biafra? How would citizenship be determined in Biafra?
Number one, I don't think I'm the right person to answer it. But if I had to say anything, number one, I know there will be a constitution drafted. There will be some, will I call it, standard set. And I believe any person born in Biafra and a native of Biafra should be a citizen. And it should not be by force. If you don't want to be, you can go. That is my own perspective. But I believe strongly the government is going to map out.
Sorry, hold on. When you say if you don't want to be, you can go. Who are you referring to?
No, what I mean is, if Biafra comes to be, which I know it will come to be.
Hold on. Answer my question.
I'm just saying
if you don't want to agree, you can go. Who is the you? Who is that you are referring to?
No, the you there is, I still believe there's a tendency of some natives, indigenous people within that Biafra territory that may decide
Yeah, in large
not
population.
to.
So,
Okay, now,
Yeah,
go
I
ahead.
know we have
where will you want them to go? You say the you. If you don't agree, you go. Where do you want those people to go?
No, the thing there is this. You see, as I said, I give an instance. Okay, I'm from Anambra, and someone from, let me say, Enugu now says, I know I was born from this town, and I don't want to be a citizen of this
No,
nation.
sorry. From the same Anambra, live in Enugu. From the same Anambra, where you are from. The person said he doesn't want to be in Biafra. Where do you want him to go?
My goal is not literally leaving the land.
So go where?
Because the person wants to be a citizen. I'm just saying on my own, if I'm let me assume to be in hands of affair, the person has his own choice. Okay, I don't want to be a citizen, no problem. If you're to stay in the land, which I believe by that, if such happens, there will be some, rules and regulations mapped out for whomever wants to dwell there, as it is in many parts of the world.
How will citizenship be determined? How would you determine citizenship?
My bros,
I think that should be obvious now. It's the people that are from ethnically from that place, and just like anybody that is born overseas, how they can determine whether they are Nigerian citizens, that will be there. And people that actually reside there, it's not a very complicated concept.
Yeah, I don't think
citizens.
No, because in a very good day, the thing is like, because many people don't want to be with these guys. Now, what you said, if you don't want, you should leave. That's
absolutely.
What I'm
you picked up correctly.
Do you want them to go?
You see, the simple questioning from Local P has unraveled the whole of the persuasion put before. It's just unraveled. There is no such thing as Biafra. And until you people get that in your head, you're going to be going round and round and round, until it's figured out. If anyone can answer this question, if anyone can tell me from the Biafra point of view, what has actually happened positively over the last 30 years of Biafra expressions? What has moved? What has changed? What has benefited anybody? If you can explain this to me, I'll be happy to hear. Because you're always against. Well, explain that. The floor is yours.
There's nothing of being against. You see, the point is this. There was a narrative someone put down. If you hold somebody down, if you decide that you're going to hold somebody down, just remember that you have to stay down. You have to stay down holding the person. So you yourself.
You mean like Oyibo people are holding us down now? They are staying down with us. Okay.
See, what seems to me
they are staying down with us. Okay. I get you. You know all these sayings. We don't think it through, do we?
Exactly.
No, you see, what the last speaker said makes sense. If you hold someone down, you just don't think you're going to remain with that.
Hold on. Listen to me.
You're going to remain in that with that person. Even from
let me answer your question. Let me answer your question about the people, the citizenship you are talking about. First of all, the simple answer to that question is that the determination of citizenship is not determined on platforms here. And it is not one person's ideology. Many nations.
No, he said something. No,
I never said
one at a time, man. One at a time.
He said something that if you don't want, you should leave.
Where will they go to now?
Not ask us so now. Yeah, you.
I have answered that question.
Why are you still hanging on that?
I have answered that question. I have made it clear, literally, as I said, go, yes. But that go means, okay, you don't want to accept it. That's a bygone. Okay, yeah. If you want to remain, but as I said, that at that time, there will be whatever laws or whatever. So to whomever, the guy that just said Biafra does not exist, I'm laughing at you. Nigeria and Biafra, who existed first?
Who believes one? I better ask my friend. Who believes one?
No, Nigeria and Biafra, which one is
Oh God!
Both Nigeria and Biafra are Oyumbo concepts. There you go.
No,
So you can
Biafra
fight over that if you wish.
and Nigeria, which one is this first?
Oh my God, man.
You can fight over that if you wish, but it's a non-question because Biafra doesn't belong to anywhere in Africa. It belongs to the Portuguese, as the name is theirs.
I think the idea
Nigeria doesn't belong to anybody as well.
For your men, for my sister,
Nigeria doesn't belong to anybody as well. That one is simple. If you, as you said that Biafra belongs to the Portuguese, let's assume that's okay. Then the same thing, Nigeria doesn't belong to anybody.
You said that. That's what I said already. You can say they're the creation of the Europeans if you want, but that's not an argument. That's just not an argument, my friend. It's just more rhetoric coming out. Alte, it's this, it's that, it's this. It's magicking into all kinds of shapes that mean nothing. And none of you can get that in your head. That all you're doing is arguing with yourselves. You're not really contemplating what kind of a philosophy this whole thing called Biafra is. I don't hear any philosophy from you. I don't hear any benefit. I don't hear how you're selling this idea apart from selling it on bullshit. Rhetoric upon rhetoric, making no sense and telling us that we don't understand. Are you out of your mind?
It's not. Let's take it.
No, I'm okay. I'm okay, but I'm just pushing it.
Don't feel angry with me.
Prof. Data has been quite patient and he's not being insulting to anybody. We shouldn't be talking to him in a bad way. I think I can sympathize with him because I'm not insulting, but people just keep insulting me and he's not doing that. Let's give him his
I hope I didn't push out any insults. I hope I didn't push out any insults.
I'm saying what he's saying is rubbish.
I didn't say that. What I said is that they're not coming out with certain things that can reasonably put the position of Biafra forward in such a way that everybody can agree and everybody can understand. But what we have over the last 30 years of this Biafra nonsense, I believe it to be nonsense, what we have is rhetoric, argument, false narratives, spitting out vermin about all other ethnicities around them. I mean, that's what I've got from it. I haven't got any sensibilities that I can say, you know what, this Biafra thing, I think we should start pursuing it. I think it's an authoritative philosophy that all Nigerians should join in with. I can't say these things because I don't hear these things. Ridiculous. I don't know why we're so ready to fight a non-fight. There's no fight in it. It's just more rhetoric. You want to create Biafra to become a smaller Nigeria. At least the Igbos, at least the Hausa, Fulani, and the Yoruba won't be there to mix with the Igbo authoritativeness. You see, when you break it down like that, then you understand that it's just the same rubbish that Nigeria is. That's what you want to create. Go ahead and create. Go ahead and create that. Go ahead.
Let me ask. Okay, let's make this guy. Let's make the Biafra people. Anybody that supports Biafra, I think it that from data. Hold on, Jefferson. Hold on now. Your turn is coming. Jefferson, I just want to confirm. Do you support Biafra? That's breaking up of Nigeria to create Biafra.
Just listen to me and listen to me good. I support a country that respects the will of the people.
Okay, then you don't support Biafra then. Okay, that's fine.
As a country,
if you support Biafra, you're saying support Biafra now, so that we can. I just want to. Oh my God! Hold on. Allow somebody to moderate. See, I'm trying to get the people that support Biafra on one side so that we can interchange. You see what I mean? Not to silence you, but just to understand. I know Prof. Data supports Biafra. Do you support Biafra, Jefferson?
That became a conflict. What are you trying to tell me?
You're on the call. Yeah. It's just yes or no, so that we can know whether you belong in that category, so we can have that conversation.
Do you want me to answer the question the way I want to?
Answer the question, then not drag it on.
I'm not dragging anything. I want to answer the question the way I want to answer it. Because there's a saying that there's no smoke without fire.
Okay, for the purposes of this conversation, do you support Biafra so that we can ask you questions?
Good.
If Nigeria doesn't do what is right, having a country is a better option. Simple.
Okay, so
if
it's about
Nigeria
Biafra.
doesn't do what is right as a country. That's my answer.
Okay, Dexter. Okay, Dexter is busy. Dexter, are you there? Dexter is having a conversation with somebody on his headset. Who else? Okay, then there's only one Biafra person. It's gonna look like we are gonna be bunching up on him. That is not good. Anybody that support Biafra, don't be shy. You know, you guys are not shy. You have a lot of energy to do it. I don't know why they are scared to come here. All these Biafra people, they just tend to avoid here because why is it that they avoid here as if there's
man.
you are not your position is unacceptable. You're a fifth columnist. You're a fifth columnist. You don't support Biafra.
Listen, we need to get back to the original cause. You know what I'm saying? The reason why Ojukwu wanted to secede was he wanted to secede from the West. He knew that the British was controlling the affairs of the government. So he wanted to create a black nation that is not pro-West. That's why he wanted to secede. Remember, Ojukwu went to school in the UK, and he read the works of Martin Luther X. No, Malcolm X. Malcolm X. He read the works of Malcolm X.
I don't think that's why he wanted to secede.
It's a shame. It's just a big. I don't know where this brother got that from.
Those ideologies inspired him. Those ideologies inspired him.
No, hold on. He wanted to rule. Why do you think he wanted to be head of state?
Who's ever heard any of that?
He wanted
exactly.
to rule.
He wanted to rule.
He wanted to secede. Why would they wanted to rule? When
Yes.
they wanted to start causing trouble,
It's
that's
out
what
of his
pushed him to civil war positions.
it's out of his own greediness.
He didn't want civil war. I don't think he wanted
Let
a
me
civil war.
Let me clarify with Eccentric. Also, when they were fighting that war, they were actually aligning with France.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
West.
France and South Africa.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, they had no choice to have a line.
You know, the moment he starts supporting Biafra,
Even if all that happened in the past. Okay, it's a simple question. I want to ask a question. All that happened in the past. All that happened in the past, during Ojukwu and everything. But yet, as a nation, we have not seen it fit to actually coexist properly. We have not corrected the lapses of a nation.
Do you know why?
Yeah, the issues are. You cannot deny the fact that issues are not there now. There are so many factors.
But do you know
what
why?
are the issues?
Yes.
Can you mention?
No. Hold on, Loco. So you understand? For instance, now, why is it that up till now, why? And I remember even as crazy as Ambode was, he even mentioned it. The seaport was so congested. He suggested that other seaport needs to be functional. And who knows? Maybe that will cost him his second tenure. Nobody knows about that, but that's the story for that day.
Possibility.
The seaport is one of them. Why should we have only one functional seaport?
We don't have only one functional seaport. Why are you saying this type of thing?
Please hold on.
There is a seaport in River State, there's a seaport in Calabar.
No, forefathers, listen.
In Lagos. He's saying that only in Lagos, only one seaport in Lagos.
No. Don't do this, forefathers.
Forefathers, listen to what he said.
We have only one seaport. Only one functional seaport.
He said one functional seaport in Lagos.
Even the international airport we have.
No, where he's coming from is that it's supposed to be in other regions. That's what he's referring to.
In Lagos.
Yes. The same way it's happening in Lagos. It should be there.
And but it's in other regions too now.
Time, he did a dry port in Kaduna.
Yes.
A dry port. He inaugurated a dry port in Kaduna when there was some
see, Jefferson, this is not the seaport.
No, it is.
River State. The seaport
in
River State.
Functional, don't you get?
They are functional. I can show them to you. They are not functional for certain things, but they are functional for other things.
They are not.
Jefferson, the River State own is functional, all right? But the functionality you're talking about is the functionality of Lagos capacity.
Yeah,
it's
that kind of consumer goods and stuff like that.
They ship things to River State. I don't see how on airport is working. Don't worry, it's working.
We've shipped into River State
for industrial
not recently, a long time ago.
Maybe refineries and all those stuff.
That's
more for industrial.
It is working for that. To say it's shut down like Warri or Calabar.
My question is, since that one is working, why can't they bring more commercial products to directly to
that is the
to
question you
airport.
should be asking.
Why?
That's your question.
Why? No, it's
that's
a simple question. Let us, so you understand, you see, when all these kind of small factors they and the kind of justice in it, I think I have a problem with that. There's a saying that what is good for the goose is good for the gander, number one. Number two, are you aware that the major control center of electricity or Shobos is, in fact, if you look at the electrical grid, go and bring the latest, what they call it, the electrical grid. You find out that some part of the Southeast don't have much connectivity of electricity, like transmission network, as compared. Southwest has the best transmission electrical network, transmission network from the power stations.
But why are you the only one complaining
part of the
now?
north?
Like, it's only you.
No. This is something I saw firsthand.
But that is the nature of nations.
This is something I saw. Hello, I've worked in an oil.
But Jefferson, that is the nature of nations. Some part will always have more than others all the time.
No,
some part will always have more than others.
There has to be it's not like that.
That is how it's in America.
No, Jefferson, hold on, listen. Popular, hold on. Jefferson, listen. Look, your complaint, right? Is like, okay, you are complaining an incorrect complaint. Something like that. Your complaint is a complaint, but incorrect.
It's not incorrect.
No, hold on. Okay, now. Hold on. Just hold on now. Just hold on. Let me tell you why I'm saying this, right? Let's assume we have refineries in the south. You understand? You are saying no, because of the way it is, we're supposed to have refinery in southeast. It's not compulsory refineries must be in the southeast.
No. Not in the literal sense. Now, come on. I know what you are saying. Not in the literal sense. Calm down. You see, every region has their strength, and no. Every region in the country have their strength and weaknesses. You understand? And it's supposed and they're supposed to work on the strengths. A situation whereby those things that are supposed to be viable to that region have been strangulated, I think I have an issue with that because sometimes it's deliberate.
Like what now? Do you mean power only? Just power? Do you think about power?
Power, the road infrastructure.
That one is general everywhere now. It's
not general everywhere. Iowa in the north has the best road network compared to the south. You want to argue that one too?
No,
if you want to argue that one, let's not go there.
Let me tell you the truth.
Don't go there.
Hold on now, because the witches and wizards in your community are the ones not doing the road. It's not the government.
Yes, some of them steal the money. Does not mean that some of them does not mean that they are getting the best of funding.
Who tell you that one?
Hold on. You are trying to say that everybody in the south is most of them who gets funding are just stealing the money from these projects.
See, not southeast.
I will disagree with you to some degree.
My brother, listen. Even the south, not southeast, not the two south.
No, south. We know.
I think maybe we should let other people come in because Jefferson, somebody like Jefferson, they don't see that other people are going through similar.
Exactly, Jefferson.
They never see, no matter what you do.
They say landlord travel and see. What you are complaining, South suffer even more. You don't even understand, but because they don't keep quiet, because we betray ourselves in the South a lot. That's why we don't talk out. We want to catch the witches and wizards in our midst first before we start crying out.
Yes,
that's why we're keeping quiet.
Yes, I agree with you.
You get my point. So not the talk road.
No, sorry, Local P. I didn't say within ourselves we don't have issues. If it's that one, I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%. But a situation whereby we have public office holders who they are in office and they start spewing hate agenda for one region or the other, I think I have an issue with that. And this is not the first time it's happening. It's not the first time it's happening. I'll give you an example.
Jefferson, and there is no champion in Nigeria that fights against that. Whenever anybody comes out and says something against one tribe, you don't see one person that jumps out and say, no. You can never say that. You don't see one person that is above the fray that will come out and say, no, you can't have a country where people just keep dividing amongst each other. It's almost as if everybody's at it at the same time. It's really sad.
Yes, I agree with you on that. And unfortunately, our political elites across the 6 political zones are guilty, and they are enjoying the spoil, because at the end of the day, it's them that is smiling to the banks. While me and you are suffering. For all the issues. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. We have that. So you need, it's a multi-level fight. But as a nation, we must correct those foundational issues. We need to do that. Our fathers has failed woefully in doing that.
So let me do a
failed
public.
woefully. And why? No, hold on. And why I said our fathers failed, because it happened. It's just a generation ahead. Just one generation ahead that was obviously involved in the so-called civil war. And they saw nothing. They didn't learn nothing about it. They learned nothing because they learned something. They could have used it as a strength to do what they call proper nation building.
No, Jefferson, sorry.
We didn't learn nothing.
Our strength, hold on, our strength of knowledge right now is social media, because we'll be able to read many things, even in the West. Our parents did not have that opportunity to read what we know. You understand? They didn't know better.
Yes.
They were they were going from word of the mouth. Anytime NTA open news talk where the government control, that's the only time they get information. And that's the information they were working with. But we, our generation, we weren't having that time. Before television open, we don't get the news before TV open. You understand? So that's why we have this strength that we have. So sometimes don't blame your parents, because if you blame them, you will not do what you do. So.
Okay, Jack, you want to say something? Hold on, Jeremy,
hold
on.
I know why we blame them.
Jeremy, hold on, Jeremy. Or Jefferson, sorry.
It was information that got to them.
Can you guys stop talking to each other first? So I want to make a public announcement. All the Biafra supporters come in here, because when you guys are with electricity, you were coming in and having all kinds of conversation, because you know he's not going to question you deeply on anything. They don't like to be questioned. That's why they don't show up.
As I
they don't like to be questioned. Now, when people like us are here that can question them deeply, they don't show up. Can you people show up? Because I know you are watching. The moment you see Simon Ekpa on the title, you are there. But the moment they start seeing people that can question them, they just run away, so that nobody gets to question them, and they just spew whatever they want to spew. Come in. This is public announcement. If you are a Biafra supporter, come in here. Let us ask you a question. For all you know, you might have something to teach us. Personally, I really want to understand what drives them. Maybe if one understands what drives them, you can channel them help channel them in the right direction that will actually be beneficial to them and the entire country. So that's why it's good to have this type of conversations. If you support Biafra, come here, and so that we can actually question you, and maybe you too might learn something. That all this stuff you have been chasing you are chasing the wind. You know,
KJ,
so you never know. Jago, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Again, I've been listening, and in my listening again, it's very difficult to see where I can grab onto something. I want to support Local P in talking generation. You know, we in this generation, we like a lot to blame our parents' generation, but I think it's rude of us in so many ways, because our parents' generation and the generation before were quite the golden generation in so many ways. They had
the best music, though.
They did a great job on raising us. The issue was communication. You know, for us to say that our parents failed us and did a woeful job, what have we done for our parents? Our children. What have you done? How rude of you? How rude of you? Wait, please let me land. Please let me land. Please let me land.
I know where you're going. I'm not talking in that context.
Let me land. Let me just land, because I'm not finished, my friend. Listen.
I know where you're going. Sorry.
You see, all will be repetitive. You said, I know you're going 3 times. God knows what. We have ears. Saying it 3 times doesn't make it more appealing. Anyway.
Go on.
All right. What I'm saying is that our communication is the problem. We don't know how to communicate. So we just open our mouth and talk. I'm afraid I have to say nonsense. There are many people right now in the comment section that instead of pointing to the thing that is the issue, what they will do is have an emotional outburst and say what they think you are. No argument, nothing satisfactory, just rhetoric, nothingness. And you think that's effective? You think that's effective to this kind of communication? You don't know how to communicate. You see, what we have, you see this thing, this God-given thing called the tongue. It can make something alive and it can make something dead. That's the power of the tongue. So we use it in such a way that we are communicating, no matter how angry or what emotion necessarily is put behind it, but there should be some ethic of truth within our communication. But because we just like to pontificate based on idiotic emotion that doesn't pronounce anything, it suggests so much nothingness, we're not even catching up to the level of bullshit that's coming out of our mouths. You know, I beg your pardon, but I beg you, I'm quite emotional about this as well. I too am an emotive person.
Well, I think, sorry, when we get to 3 hours, we are going to shift it to Niger. Then that way you are allowed to be doing this thing. This one is for corporate.
I'm with you. I'm with you, and I thank you for the caution. What I'm trying to put to us is that really, we have to raise our game. We have to raise the level of communication we have. We have to stop the idiotic rhetoric that is not going to be on anybody who is intelligent. They're going to throw that thing out. The 2 questions from Local P has unraveled somebody's argument here on the Biafra. 2 questions. Unraveled it, turned it into nonsense. Yet none of you are going to wake up to say, boy, he got me there. None of you are going to be able to have the kudos to admit that you lost this argument. You lost the war. You lost the argument. What more do you wish to lose before we come together as a people? What more? How many times are we going to be doing this? This is Biafra in terms of the war, 1967. We are now 2024. And this is such a big rock in our midst that we are not able to shift from in order to move forward. So what do? We make trouble out of the issue, basically making things worse. You are not making anything any better. If you feel that you're doing something that is good and wise and has potential to develop, my brother, you are sleeping in the midst. You're not looking, you're not smelling the coffee at all. You're just going ahead blindly. It's incredible for me to view. I must tell every one of you, it's incredible for me to view. There was an Igbo man, I think he's eccentric, who put out that possibly we're not doing this in the right way. Possibly there's another way of doing it. And he laid mention what he felt. All of you who are Igbo rubbished him to hell. Away with that kind of thought. Never of a sight. It's incredible what you do to yourselves and what you do to Nigeria. And you feel that you can run a way forward? My brother, there is no organization that I've seen as shambolic as what they call Biafra. It's a blatant, irritating lie. End of.
Quite interesting point. Quite interesting.
Jonaba, please go ahead. Jonaba hasn't said anything for a while.
I would love to. I would like to take it in a different way because we have 2 brothers in one brain here. So I wouldn't love to bash them too much because we are all brothers. The issue Biafra will always exist till the world end. If the world will end, that is established. I think what they don't understand is that they just like Yoruba nation will always be there until the world finish. If there will be end of the world, I don't believe that. But some of you believe Jesus is coming for you, so I don't believe that. So we have to establish that. I think the way that people are going about all those fulfillment of their personal dream to provoke the entire nation or certain people, it is what amazes me that in 21st century, when it's very clear that people are taking advantage of you and you don't see it that way. And let's say that somebody mean it for a good reasons. I don't mind that if somebody mean it, okay, I want to do well, set a good example for my people. It does not mean war with the next neighbor. You can do it without that. And when I hear people say somebody is holding somebody down, Nobody hold anybody's down. If anybody that have that mentality will never grow, even as an individual. There is nothing that human being is not designed individually or collectively that you determined and you constantly, persistently pursuing it, that you cannot become who you want to be. There's nothing. And when you say, oh, somebody is stepping, is it Nigerian elite that is stepping on everybody? Are there not your tribe there in Abuja? Do you go part of Nigeria that is doing well more than even your own place? In some cases, you even do much better in some ways. So that marginalization word, I think, is a talking point created by the politicians and let the little ones among them go about it, which is not reality. And if there is a marginalization in Nigerian space, everybody is marginalized. No one is out of it. So if you want to present a case to people, if we are not living in that space, even seeing you alone to compare with others, we know you are being disingenuous because your appearance does not look like that. Neither your settlement in Nigerian space shows that you are being marginalized. If you go to Lagos today, the Igbo born in Lagos, they will not talk the way some of you talk because they mixed up with the Yoruba culture. They eat their food, they marry, they live together in peace and harmony. If you go to the north and you see the Igbos born in the north and you talk like that, they will be offended in it. They will say no. They're even going to see outside guy being marginalized than you that you are claiming it. And that is the disingenuous, and that's why some of the minority around you, if you say now you are marginalized with your number, and the minority around you, you want to become part of you, when you are crying foul, foul, and there's nothing like that. So just imagine, for instance, if you want to create whether it's 5 states in the east that want to become a Biafra, and there are other neighboring, I don't know the map of the 40 states. I don't know that they have the 40 states of Biafra mapped out. I think there will be minority there. Do you think the minority will be part of you when you're being disingenuous, when you are a majority in the country, crying, you've been marginalized, from the federal level or from the state level? Where does the marginalization start? That kind of thing throws so many people off. Even some people will not talk. And there is even the spokesperson for Soludo, the one that was here last week. He mentioned it in as much I don't agree with so many things. Of course, it's a politician, all politician lies. But there are things he said, no, who is not marginalized in Nigeria? And that is a reality. So you guys should don't be using that word repeatedly. We are marginalized. We are being held back. Who hold you back? On how? And what is the holding you back is different from others?
It's very interesting because do you think maybe is the South, when they used to create like the regions, you have that Southeastern region, because that, how white people in America, sometimes they crave for the 50s, they want it back. There is element of what happened in that time when they created that Eastern region, where the Southeast, as we know it today, gained a lot. Because they had a lot of investment in the South, like Port Harcourt, and there was a lot of expansionism going on during that period. And they had a leader that was in the Southeast, that was from the Southeast, that ruled that whole area. So that confederation system. So when that was taken away, it looks like that vision never left, because I don't think it existed before that. Because that region, that part of the world has been like that for a very long time. You never had, Igbo people want to rule the whole area. They were inland. They didn't have any interest in ruling everywhere. So it looks like it's a more recent vision that they want to fulfill. And hence, when they create that map, you see Calabar, River State, and all those spots is part of the map. They never had that before. They were always inland. So it could be that period when they had that Eastern region that created this greater Biafra in their minds. That's my from listening to the conversation, that's what I'm beginning to think, because it wasn't there before. Was it? Was Biafra always there before? You guys, Jefferson, he's here now. It was never there before that Eastern region was created.
Mr. Forefathers.
Can I speak?
Igbo land is beyond 5 states. There are Igbo people in Delta. There are Igbo people. This is not, I'm not saying it because I want to do land. I'm not saying it because of, so that they'll say, oh, we want to claim more states. Well, it is there, literally. There are Igbo people.
You're not addressing the point. How about the riverine areas you are claiming? How about the areas that have access to the sea?
There are
That's
Igbo
the area
people
I'm
in
talking
the U.S. too. There are Igbo people in Washington State. Are we gonna take that too? You know.
You see,
to be fair, he's saying something else. Let's not.
I'm not being.
I hear what he's saying.
If you ask me, you're just being sarcastic right now.
Please, that's why he's laughing. That's why he's laughing.
Look, hold on.
So address the riverine. No, hold on. Don't interrupt. I want to hear what he has to say about this. Address that riverine area. Those areas that you people didn't have access to before, that they went and got King Jaja, the guy that hold on, let me finish now. The guy that is called King Jaja of Opopo, they went into the hinterland and got him as a slave and brought him to the Opopo area, and he became a slave for them, rose from slave to become the head of the house. So during that time, there was no dream that the Igbo people wanted to own the whole riverine areas. But why is it now? Why is it happening now?
No, apart from that, the Igbo people have always been there. They have always been there.
Where?
Please, they have always been
Where?
there.
Where?
They have been in rivers. They have been in River State.
Do you know your origin? Do you know your origin?
Ikwere is not riverine.
What kind of a question is that, Mr. Loco?
Ikwere is inland.
Wait, hold on. Wait, so you have been there? Where is
Even the charger of people are talking about, I always from that is at the center for my village.
Is it?
The King Jaja of Opobo. Its origin is actually from my village, Gongo.
No, hold on. Question
yes.
I'm asking you. Hold on, because I'm asking you.
So
you have always been there. Where is there? Where do you refer to as there?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's one thing. What do you refer to as you have always been there? Where is there?
Obibo, Afam. Yes, Obibo, Afam. Ikwere, that's Elele. You know those villages and towns within River State.
Okay,
how many? The people are.
Yes. Let me make that clear to him.
No.
Hold on. I hear what you are saying. I really want to ask you a specific question, specific one here, because there are. I can play this, so you can tell me whether I can hear what this person is saying. If you can hear what this person is saying in their song, you let me know. Okay, I will play this song, and you tell me whether you can hear anything that has been said there. If you hear one word there, you let me know.
Ganga. Play my volume, please. Press play.
Okay.
I hear what you're saying.
No, hold on now. No, I'm trying to get him. No, did you understand one word from there?
I can't even
exactly. He doesn't. So this is the point I'm trying to make to him. So,
my brother, do you see
why the chat are going crazy now? Hold on,
brother. Do you see what I ask you? Do you know your origin? So you want to take offense just now? Just get quiet.
So
we'll continue.
That area, do you think Igbo encounter these people because their language is completely different? They are the riverine area we are referring to. So why was the Igbo people not there? Why did they have to go inland to get Igbo people as slaves? Why did they have to do that? If the Igbo, and Igbo didn't have any ambition to take those areas. So why is it that is now suddenly when you create your map includes them? Why now?
You're getting trapped out there, guys. It's getting wrapped up, guys. You have no answers to simple questions. You have no answers to simple questions, yet you want to become a nation. It is laughable. Laughable.
So the one that we have, what are we doing with it?
Hey, that's how you complain, but all of us can complain like that. When all of us come to the same page, okay, I've heard you. You don't need to repeat yourself. I've heard you. This repetitive thing that you do is completely a waste of time. What it is, my friend, is once we come to the same point of complaint, then as a whole nation that we know as Nigeria, we come together instead of forcing idiotic divisions between ourselves and adding to them. We will come together and take care. Why don't you hear my answer? Why don't you hear my answer? Why can you not hear my answer? Why is it that you want to interrupt me? Now I'm speaking.
No.
They gave you questions. You were quiet. Now you want to interrupt me. Is that discourse?
You cannot use the dialect.
Is that discourse, my friend?
Time now. Give us
Let's
20
check it
minutes.
out.
You can go all out on anybody after 20 minutes. After 20 minutes time, we are going to move from. Let me just answer. We are going to move from Dr. Damages. Then people that want to continue watching can continue on to Niger. And that is not for faint-hearted people. Jagun is going to let go, and I'm going to let this in local say whatever he wants to say. And if you are not ready for wahala, don't come there. And these are people you have to really hold on to your facts. You have to have your facts. If
you do,
because we can't tolerate
you get away with no nonsense.
You don't have facts. You have to have your facts straight. You check it and double check it before it's come here and say any nonsense. So because we are having very strict conversations there. This is not have your say. This is have your truth. We have to have truth there, not have your say. The truths are going to, opinions are going to meet, and one has to stand. At least some have.
I think that's very good. I think that's very good, forefather. And to all of us be the judge of how we are communicating our arguments, because the argument is what is necessary. All the rhetoric and all the bombshellai, all the this, that, and the other one, we see quite quickly through all that nonsense. So we put it away and then we go back to what is necessary to be spoken about. You understand? Yeah. This ain't no play. You guys, you propagate a stance of malicious mayhem. And you don't recognize it, and in not recognizing it, it becomes very dangerous.
Jefferson,
just imagine that.
You get any smoke without fire, Mr. Jagun?
No, I beg your pardon.
People just want to fight. No,
I'm not saying that.
There is smoke without fire.
Okay, but I am not saying. I guess I will. I am not saying that. I fully appreciate everybody in that country is suffering. And suffering largely unnecessarily. I even appreciate that after the Biafra War, that silly country that we call Nigeria did not come to the level where they needed to uplift the Igbo. They needed to put structures in the East. I'm 100%. Wait, let me land. I need you to get me. Forefather, would you allow? Would you please let me land? I'm answering your question, my friend. You see, this you're just trying to make an argument. I'm not trying to make an argument based on me going back and forth with you. I'm trying to put down clarity so we can appreciate where the clarity is, not to start jumbling things up and thinking that people would understand nonsense. That's not how we communicate, my friend. We communicate by listening and then talking. So we come to a point where if we don't agree on 90% of what we communicate, let's agree on 10%. We must be able to get there. We must be. If you're really forthright, if you are forthright, my friend.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
All I want to put to you, my friend, I am not against Igbo. I'm not even against the word Biafra if you want to use it. I'm only against the word Biafra based on the fact that it is not African. It's another fabrication of fabricators. So that is my stance on it. Having said that, I'm putting to you that whole country called Nigeria is the most beautiful thing that could have happened to anyone in that country called Nigeria, to be frank. Based on the fact, when I think about myself, I wouldn't rather be anybody else on the planet. I won't want to be Chinese. I won't want to be Oyinbo. I won't want to be from Rwanda. I won't want to be from South Africa. It's Nigeria that where I want to belong to, because I understand what the hell it is. Niger is a ball of power that is in our hands. And instead of putting that power together, we become throwing stones at each other. I think that kind of philosophy is pathetic. Pathetic. That's what I think. Are you with me? Okay. Is there clarity? I'm not an Igbo hater. People are writing in the comments stupid things. Jago, he hates Igbos. I mean, what's that mean? What does that mean? What's that going to do for anyone? Is that an argument? Is that an argument of a grown-up? Ask yourself.
And I think, Jago, you're touching on something. But let Jefferson go. Jefferson, go ahead and say what you want to say.
Okay, Jago, yes, I totally agree with what you said in terms of the fact that we need to come. Yes, Nigeria is a very big country. We have about, obviously, 36 states plus the Federal Capital Territory. No problem. If you go across the length and breadth of Nigeria, Nigeria has very great prospects. But I think my issue with us as a country is that we have failed. We have allowed our political leaders to get away with so much corruption over the years, be it in the military, be it in democracy. And it's actually, and we are suffering it now. Of course, and why I'm saying all these things because we don't really have a direction as a nation. And unfortunately, the foundation of it, unfortunately, right now as it is, we are highly divisive because of the fact that we have not been able to resolve issues of the past and present, and obviously in the future. You see, if for us to enjoy Nigeria as a country, I think it's high time we really need to review. We're supposed to review what we stand for.
So I have a question for you. I was going to ask that.
Yes.
Having said all this, so do you now think Biafra is a solution?
It will be an alternative if Nigeria continues on. It's going to listen. No, it's not about you thinking. No. Listen, Mr. Jide, don't try to play smart here. Calm down. It is going to be an alternative if Nigeria fails to, we ought to respect ourselves here. I would love a situation where, if no matter which presidency, even if you are in any part of the world, it's not, even if it is me, and even if it's an Igbo man, the Igbo man should respect everybody from all parts of the nation, do projects equally, do it in accordance. It's not favoritism, even in terms of appointment. We are most of us are in a developed society. Oh, calm down. Most of us are in a developed society today, and some of us have got jobs based on what we can do. In Nigeria, most of us we get jobs, we get business, we get contract based on where you are from, or you are friend to this person, or who you play loyalty to. It's actually the thing in Nigeria. That's the truth. It's not a good space to be in.
So you think
excuse me, sorry, Jefferson, see, truth be told, look, I'll tell you one truth. Until you deep within your heart stop seeing somebody that doesn't speak Igbo as your enemy, right? There will never be a way forward.
I don't have anybody as my enemy.
No, you know you.
I understand what you mean. Yes,
you understand.
No, I know what you're doing.
You understand? I'll tell you this.
Exactly.
Right? You just like when Unambikano was saying, anybody that is not any Igbo person that is not sympathetic to Biafra is Okorausa or whatever, like Sanaka or whatever. It's just so that's until you see people like that. Look, we can work together, even if I don't agree with your ideology. We can still build a nation together.
Yes.
That will benefit both of us, not only you or me, but both of us together equally. You get my point? So that is the truth. If we don't do that, and that is even beyond Igbo people. It's also good like that as a Yoruba man, as an Hausa man. In fact, these three useless tribes they call major as mayhem, because that's the most.
No, now Wazobia. Don't worry, it's Wazobia.
Sorry to say, though, I don't mean to offend anybody, but they're the most.
I understand. No, I understand. I understand.
Because it's that issue that's causing the problem. Because you feel they call you majority people, you think you have power to decide what you want to decide. And there are little or smaller tribes that are even more important than these major tribes, but they suffer even more than these major tribes because they don't talk. And they don't talk because they know, they acknowledge the fact that they have internal witches and wizard inside that's refusing from them to grow, and they are playing with the bigger player. That's why we are even taking our time to make sure we get it from inside. And I also want you from the southeastern part to also know that yes, you also have witches and wizards inside. That is even
I agree with you. 100%.
And if you know that part, you never keep person with them inside you, they fuck you up. You did think of what you use your nonsense, they distort me for years, say now all of us be our problem. Meanwhile, the person with the worry you find inside your house first. And if I find my own, I want to fight my own. You know, they give me breathing space. You tell me now, me will not be your tribe, be your problem because I don't speak the same language. You don't trust me. You understand?
Sorry, hold on, Loco P. Wait, hold Loco P. You will agree with me that in the current Nigerian space, whether we like it or not, even if you don't have, even for instance, even if an Igbo doesn't have it against the Yoruba man can naturally hate him. The Igbo man.
You say Yoruba
can
naturally.
Let me say something.
Repeat it again.
I said within the Nigerian space, even if the Igbo man doesn't have anything didn't do anything to Yoruba, we have tribal hate. It cannot deny that. It is actually literally there.
Yeah. When did that start? You see the way you come
from where? Wait, from where now?
Okay, let me hold on. But again, I just don't like the road you're going down.
I don't like when people are saying.
Okay, fair enough. Go ahead. But I don't like the road you're going down.
To say anything. We should also let others add to the conversation. Another one.
Sorry, I just want to wrap this up so that with due respect, within ourselves, the way we address ourselves within the Nigerian space is very, very toxic. For instance, the Igbos will address the Yorubas as Ofio Mano. I'm speaking example. And then the Yorubas will call the Igbos Omo Igbo. You understand? Then sometimes the Hausa, hold on. Sometimes the Hausas will call
it's Omo Igbo, a derogatory term.
Hold on now, eccentric.
No.
There's something I'm going. You see, these are the small.
It's Omo Igbo. Is Omo Igbo a derogatory term? Is there a derogatory?
It has a meaning, my friend.
Please,
which means a child of the Igbos. Very simple.
Yeah,
it's all laughable again. It's becoming to that point where we start laughing.
See, hold on. You can say something to someone.
No.
You may not insult the person, but you might say that same thing to insult the person.
Don't do that. We're not stupid out here. Omo Igbo is not a derogatory term.
Please,
what are you talking about? Calling Yoruba people is a derogatory term.
Loco P, you agree with me?
It's not a derogatory term. That's a fact.
Wait, essentially, hold on.
Now, can you allow me to speak?
Jefferson, come again. You say what?
Sometimes within the Nigerian space, you can tell me. Someone can, a Yoruba man can tell an Igbo man, say, "Oh, Omo Igbo." Yes, hold on, and he might have a context. And he might mean that in a demeaning manner sometimes. Depends on the.
That's not true.
Eccentric. How long have you stayed in Nigeria?
Hold on now. Wait now. Oh shit. Continue.
Ofeman is a derogatory term. You know that. You know that.
Yes, I agree.
Omo Igbo means Nwibo. Nwibo, dude, what the hell? Nwibo. Nwibo is normal. It's a normal term.
Wait,
sorry, Loco P. There's actually someone Loco P. There's something.
I want to catch you in that place. Go there.
What? No, hold on. It's not about catching me. What I'm saying that we give ourselves names, and we insult ourselves and we spew hatred. I know where you're going. We do that and it is so much. And sometimes, and sometimes maybe in one way or the other, either maybe during election or maybe if someone wants to rent a house or something, that is when we start. You will see all those antics. Like I'll give an instance.
From both
Hold
parties.
on. I'm glad you understand where I'm going. So, for instance, now,
from both parties.
Yes, from both sides. Yes, from Igbo and from Yoruba. Yes. There's this lady, what's her name, Chidimma, that was contesting for this beauty pageant, Chidimma. Yes, from in South Africa. Are you aware? During the contest in South Africa, no offense, some people from Nigeria were actually spraying hatred to the people in South Africa, and the people in South Africa were spraying the same hatred to her. They were like, "Is she really South African?" and all of that. You know, you can literally go. You can go and watch it. It's on the internet.
What's your point?
What's your exactly? What's your point? Simply because of where she comes from and the other.
Where's she from?
Today, I think she's Igbo. I think she's
actually her father is actually a Yoruba man.
Wait,
he gave her the name Chioma.
See,
that's the fact. I'm ashamed that all the things that you have to say. I'm ashamed of you.
Oh, sorry. I thought his father was
Igbo.
Papa, hold on.
Don't you mean you're ashamed of me?
Where is Igbo land? Do they
the name
Additional? Where in
Uh-huh.
Igbo land do they answer additional? Where in Igbo land?
There's no place in Igbo land.
Exactly.
Why did she go to the Southeast then? I don't understand.
Two people follow rhetoric.
You try to understand something here. No, try and understand something. It's not about doing me this. It's not. No, calm down. It's not about doing me this, because it's not about doing this. You know,
explanations that lead to nowhere.
We spew hatred amongst ourselves. We are so divisive from all angles, be it hidden and be it open. But yet we want to deny that it's not there. I think I have an issue with that. We cannot continue to deceive ourselves.
Yeah, it's because it has been
happening for years.
So who do you want to hold responsible now?
To all of us, everybody is responsible. Yes.
What's your point now?
Always responsible.
Exactly. So don't blame one side. I thought you wanted to blame because you wanted initially you wanted to blame one side. I was wanting to catch you there.
I am not blaming. See, look, I don't discuss. Hold on, I don't discuss that way. I don't discuss that way. When we have an issue within our house, within our own household, of course, we definitely know about it, and we resolve it. You understand?
Hold on. I'm confused. So this Chidimma matter. Hold on, Jefferson. I'm confused. Chidimma matter is confusing me. Why is it that her name sounds Yoruba, but at the same time they are saying that she was born to an Igbo Nigerian father? What is going on here? How did the name sound?
Propaganda, and we know who's the best at that.
Wait. Where did additional come from? No, but somebody asked.
I'm not spreading any propaganda. It's nothing new.
But if it was propaganda,
I didn't say you personally. I said there are people that are great at spreading propaganda into the ethos, and it amounts to nothing.
Jago, she did go to the southeast, though. She went to the southeast. She didn't go to the Lagos area.
To be clear, I only support her as a Nigerian.
Exactly.
And I witnessed the love that Nigeria has shown that young lady. Wait, please. That Nigeria has shown that young lady. If she's Igbo, fantastic. If she's Yoruba, great. Fantastic. You understand? But it doesn't really scribble my mind as to the subject we're talking about. So again, to my man Dexter, I don't understand any of your arguments. They're like batshit arguments coming from nowhere.
Okay, we have not changed direction yet. Okay, now I think we've got about 6 minutes now, so before things get really, really dicey. Jonaba, just hold that one for the session of truth and authenticity. It's a bit hot, but it's better. At least we get to the truth of the nub of things. Okay, so thank you all for joining us that are joining us from Dr. Damages. We are going to be moving to True Niger now. If you want to continue watching, that is the link on the screen there. You join us on that end, and then things will get really, really real on that end, as they say. Jefferson, I really appreciate you for your patience. You are the only one on that side, and everybody is just coming at you. Loco, dismissing you. Jago wants to bite you. Chide is just feeling sorry for you from the side by the side. I don't know what Dexter is doing. I don't know what's happening with Dexter. And Eccentric is tired of everybody just attacking him from left and right. Whether he supports something or is against something, people attack Eccentric anyway. So so to join us to this, I think we are going to go on a break. Then I'm going to end it on Dr. Damages. Then by the time we come back, we are going to be on True Niger. And if you guys want to join us, you join us there, because all these streams have to end at 3 hours on this channel, other than on True Niger. So that is the rules, and that is why electricity had to end the previous stream too. So let's go for this short break, and with this Nigerian national anthem that I've never heard before. It's a really new rendition of it.
One day